Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Prehistoric Survival. Start with a stone cave. Chapter 81. As soon as Zhou Yi came out of the village, I saw a group of people from the Hope Alliance fighting against the Fire Alliance. In addition to the Alliance of Hope, and the primitive people of the Chago tribe also appeared. The tribal totem of the Chago tribe is the wolf. Each Chagu tribesman brought a dire wolf to attack the Fire Alliance. They somehow tamed the dire wolf. The people of the Chago tribe have much more fierce eyes than those of the Chagu tribe. Zhou Yi once heard Cha can say that the Chago tribe is a cannibal tribe. Let Zhou Yi be careful when encountering the Chago tribe. I don't know how the Chago tribe got together with the people from the Alliance of Hope. They even helped deal with the Fire Alliance together. There is a person from the Hope Alliance here. Brothers, hurry up and surround him together. Several people from the Fire Alliance discovered Zhou Yi wearing armor and mistook him for someone from the Alliance of Hope. He immediately gathered around with a small group of people. When we gathered around, we realized something was wrong. This man was actually accompanied by an ankylosaurus. The 6-meter-long ankylosaurus is very intimidating, coupled with the iron armor like thorns and guillotine-like spikes on both sides of the body. Just looking at it made me afraid to step forward. Not only this ankylosaurus, but also look at Zhou Yi wearing excellent armor and holding a Macedonian spear. Armed to the teeth, it's true that the equipment crushed them. It's like a boss in a 6-god suit facing a group of canyon super soldiers. Brothers, come on. I don't know who shouted, but no one around him dared to move. Who dares to go up and try? Try and die. When Zhou Yi saw how cowardly these people from the Fire Alliance were, he knew that they were not direct descendants of the Li family. Ask them something. Where is Li Yan? As a result, a thoughtless person suddenly rushed forward with a weapon raised high. He shouted loudly, for the Fire Alliance. As a result, he didn't rush to Zhou Yi yet. He was swung by a meteor hammer from the ankylosaurus, and he was sent flying more than 10 meters away. The fine-grade breastplate on his body was directly torn apart by a tail whip. He really died on the spot. When the remaining people saw this scene, they immediately became much more honest, pointing in one direction and saying, "Li Yan is over there, brother, please spare your life." A group of people started asking for help. This group of people is far inferior to the Shajia gang. The people of the Shajia gang are very bloody and dare to fight with me. This group of people didn't even have the courage to fight. Since they were in the hostile camp, Zhou Yi was not polite to them. Let them leave their backpacks and throw all their weapons and equipment on the ground. Then let them go. Thanks. Thank you, brother, for sparing me. Before leaving, these people even said thank you to him. The Firoraptor was extremely excited when he saw a bunch of delicious food right in front of him. How could there be so many ready prey waiting for you in the desert? Every time you hunt, you must have the awareness that you will become the prey. In order to have a full meal, I often go hungry for more than 10 days. The excited Firoraptor began to bite people when it saw them, fully displaying its greedy nature. The Pyroraptor is much more ferocious than the beasts on the island, such as the terror bird, the short-faced bear, and the saber-toothed tiger. Compared with the Firoraptor, they all fell behind. The people of the Fire Alliance discovered that a new species of Firoraptor suddenly appeared on the island, and they couldn't defeat it at all. The one who was being chased fled in embarrassment to fetch the reinforcements. Soon the reinforcements appeared. This is a group of Fire Alliance soldiers also wearing full-body armor. He held a guando nearly 2 meters long in his hand. The Firoraptor was very surprised when it discovered a new prey. The new prey even rushed over after seeing it. The Firoraptor immediately jumped up, opened its teeth and started biting. After taking one bite, I found that my always good teeth were choked by the food this time. It was a bit hard to bite. This layer of armor is very hard, and there seems to be soft armor inside. The Firoraptor was biting and scratching, but there was nothing that could be done with this layer of armor that could cover the whole body. He was also injured when he was attacked with a guando. After a battle, Firoraptor's body was decorated with colors in 7 or 8 places. But the other party didn't feel any strange at all. Hold the guando and strike at it again. Firoraptor quickly jumped away. He jumped away in a few steps. It won't die if it encounters this kind of enemy again. Xiao San also encountered this kind of Fire Alliance soldier wearing full body armor. Even the horns on its head couldn't break through their defenses. These soldiers wore full body armor and held guando in their hands. They were very difficult to deal with. They also used guando to slash and attack at the same time. When the League of Hope and the primitive people saw these soldiers, they turned around and ran away, clearly unwilling to tangle with them. But Xiao San's skin was so tough that he completely ignored the knife's attack. It also has a brutal impact. He charged up and gave a headbutt, sending the soldier in full armor flying more than 10 meters away. After being knocked away and hit the ground hard, it would be difficult to stand up again. Xiao San found a way to deal with this special group of soldiers from the Fire Alliance. Deep in the woods, Li Yan stood on the top of a hillside under the protection of a group of direct descendants of the Li family. The view here is broad. It is convenient to observe every move in front. Li Yan had heard the news just now. Zhou Yi also joined the battlefield. This made Li Yan very excited. He has been thinking about revenge for the last time. During this period, with the support of the Li family, he successfully upgraded the 3rd level base, and also secretly trained an elite force. He asked for a set of excellent level armor making scrolls from his uncle Li Tianlin. I spent a lot of money to make 50 sets of excellent armor at one time. This is a huge expense. The material for a set of excellent level armor must include excellent level metal sheets. 50 sets of excellent grade armor require about 2,000 pieces of excellent grade metal pieces. In order to build this special unit, Li Yan spent a lot of money. Even the elite members of the Shajia gang only wear sophisticated armor. Only key members can wear excellent armor. Li Yan's purpose of creating this special unit was specifically to deal with Zhou Yi. Go, kill Zhou Yi for me. None of our Li family soldiers are cowards. Li Yan ordered to the more than 30 direct members of the Li family wearing excellent level armor on the top of the mountain. Yes, Mr. Li. A group of Li family members sneaked into the woods and left the top of the mountain with a mission. At the same time, Zhou Yi also caught people from the Fire Alliance and asked about the whereabouts of Li Yan and Xiao Yu. After learning that Li Yan was at the top of the mountain, when Zhou Yi was about to rush forward and kill Li Yan, suddenly, a group of direct descendants of the Li family wearing excellent grade armor surrounded them from the woods. These people carry long bows on their backs and guando in their hands. It looks like he's well trained at first glance. After discovering Zhou Yi, start shooting arrows from a long distance. A rain of arrows rained down. Although most of the arrow rain was blocked by the ankylosaurus with its huge body, Zhou Yi nimbly dodged the remaining arrows by hiding behind a tree. Zhou Yi, who was hiding behind the tree, was surprised. When did Li Yan create such a unit? If he read it correctly just now, those soldiers were wearing excellent armor. Excellent grade armor has excellent defensive performance and can withstand the claws of raptors. It is difficult to break the defense. In that case, Zhou Yi is about to activate his psychic skills. Squatting behind a tree, he slapped his palms on the ground. Come out, Tarbosaurus. A burst of white smoke rose from the ground. Then a huge figure slowly appeared. A group of Li family members wearing excellent armor were led by a captain, advancing in a semi-enveloping formation. He's hiding behind a tree. Don't let him get away. Go up and wrap him up quickly. Seeing Zhou Yi hiding behind a tree, the armored soldiers immediately stepped forward, preparing to attack from the flank. Suddenly, a giant 10-meter-tall dinosaur emerged from behind the tree. This dinosaur looks very similar to Tyrannosaurus rex. The difference is that it has snake-like patterns on its body. Strong legs support the body, and a head as big as a house. Fierce eyes stared at them. In the gaping mouth, there are sharp teeth like 2 rows of electric saws. These direct descendants of the Li family were all stunned. What the hell? Why did a Tarbosaurus suddenly appear? The captain reacted immediately. Zhou Yi is an animal trainer. But it doesn't matter if you are an animal tamer. How come you have even tamed a creature like Tarbosaurus? Tarbosaurus saw so much food in front of him, triggering his predator instinct. He raised his head and let out a fierce roar. Don't forget, when Tarbosaurus first met Zhou Yi, its loyalty was -27. It is extremely aggressive towards humans. The armored soldiers surrounding them were so frightened by Tarbosaurus's voice that they peed. This is a kind of biological instinct suppression. Many people were trembling in place when the Tarbosaurus charged towards them. I even forgot about escaping. The intimidating power of a Tarbosaurus is much more powerful than that of tigers, lions, and bears. Ordinary people would be scared to death if they saw a bear charging towards them. What's more, this is a behemoth 10 meters high. Seeing it rushing toward me would scare half of his life. The Tarbosaurus bit an armored soldier who had not had time to retreat. He swallowed the man and his armor together. Chicken flavor, crunchy and crunchy. Excellent level armor can't stop that terrifying bite force. After eating the meat, spit out the armor. The other armored men fled. The captain looked at the soldiers who were being chased around like chickens by the Tarbosaurus. If you want to organize an effective counterattack, you can't organize it at all. He could only watch his soldiers being swallowed up one by the Tarbosaurus. Finally I saw how cruel the prehistoric overlords were. Even climbing a tree is useless. Unless it's a big tree hugged by two people. Ordinary trees will fall down when Tarbosaurus pushes them. That terrifying tail exploded like a whip. Throw it down. The entire tree was broken directly into two pieces in the middle. The only advantage of armored soldiers is their speed and agility. Tarbosaurus was large and relatively bulky. You can use your speed to deal with Tarbosaurus. But you must maintain a strong mentality. Not everyone can make a big difference out of a small thing. Zhou saw that Tarbosaurus was having fun there, so he left it alone. As long as its loyalty does not drop by 30. Zhou suddenly felt a familiar breath coming towards his face. As a level 4 animal trainer, the bond between him and his tamer grew stronger. He can easily penetrate the thoughts of his own tame beast. He felt a tame animal approaching him eagerly. The heart is full of urgency, excitement, and friendliness. Zhou remembered who it was. It's Xiao He. Blackie is back. A huge snake head poked over from the treetop, stretching out a long snake letter. Licking the armor on Zhou body with snake letter, conveying its inner emotions. Zhou saw a coiled titan python. Its skin is very dark, its head is also dark, and half of its body length cannot be seen. There are circles of circular patterns on the body. It is indeed Xiao He. Except that his body has grown bigger, Xiao He still looks the same as before. Xiao He, you're back. Zhou was also very excited and threw himself on Xiao He's head. Hugging Xiao He's head, which was bigger than his whole body. After shedding her skin, Xiao He's body is so big that it's scary. It still likes to be coiled on things. The body is coiled around the big tree like a donut. The waist of the tree was almost broken by it. If he likes Panran so much, Xiao He must be a female. Zhou asked him to stand upright. Xiao He got down from the tree and lay down flat. It was visually estimated to be over 20 meters. He remembered that Xiao He's body length before molting was just over 10 meters. The skin doubles in one molt. What really shocked Zhou was that there was a sound of threads of snakes swallowing and spitting out snake messages all around. All around are Titanoboa. At some point, Zhou discovered that he had been surrounded by a group of titan pythons. But these Titanoboa didn't mean any harm. From Xiao He's psychology, Zhou learned an amazing thing. This group of Titanoboa are all Xiao He's subordinates. Xiao He's status is very special among this group of Titanoboa, equivalent to a python king. This is not because of its strength or leadership, etc., but because of its bloodline. Xiao He is the king of Titanoboa, King Titanoboa. Zhou didn't expect that he would accidentally save a titan python king with the blood of the king. No wonder Xiao He must return to the virgin forest when she sheds her skin. Xiao He has been hanging around Zhou, rubbing back and forth, surrounded by a group of snakes. These snakes are not small in size. Some of them are even bigger than Xiao He. Their bodies are coiled up in circles, making them look like monsters. Zhou still felt a little uneasy. He had burned down the entire snake nest with one fire. Wouldn't these snakes have hatred in their hearts and seek revenge on him? Xiao He. No, they are very obedient, and they are all my little brothers now. Zhou understood Xiao He's heart. The large group of titan pythons just stared at him and made no further moves. Zhou also gradually felt relieved. Then you mean, you can command a group of snakes? Zhou asked Xiao He. Xiao He nodded, indicating that it was okay. Zhou was stunned for a moment. The snakes listened to Xiaohe, and Xiaohe listened to him. Doesn't this mean that he can command the Titanoboa swarm? This discovery made Zhou Yi ecstatic. I feel as if I have discovered a new continent. In this gregarious beast that crowds around its leader. If you are lucky enough to tame the leader, wouldn't you be able to give orders to the leader? To command the entire clan? Zhou Yi was startled by his own thoughts. There are many social animals, such as mammoths and velociraptors. Also, Allosaurus, an intelligent and cold-blooded apex predator, also likes to live in groups. Allosaurus is a more ferocious dinosaur than Tyrannosaurus rex. Because they are good at hunting in groups. If Zhou Yi remembered correctly, the next time his trainer leveled up, his target was an Allosaurus king. Zhou Yi suppressed his inner thoughts first. The important thing now is to kill Li Yan and rescue Xiao Yu. Zhou Yi issued an order to Xiaohe. Let Xiaohe command the Titanoboa swarm to destroy the people of the Fire Alliance. Xiaohe spat out the snake letter. After receiving the order, a group of Titanoboa turned around and quietly got into the surrounding trees. Carry out the king's orders and prepare to hunt. The nightmare that the Fire Alliance once had is coming again. Zhou Yi gave the Tarbosaurus an instruction by the way. When it sees a group of Titanoboa appearing around, it should not attack to avoid accidentally injuring friendly forces. A single Tarbosaurus defeated the armored soldiers of the Fire Alliance. Not to mention the addition of a large group of adult Titanoboa, which can torture the Fire Alliance until they can no longer take care of themselves. Zhou Yi followed Tarbosaurus and Titanoboa. Go pick up the excellent armor dropped by the armor soldiers. These are all good things. It can't be wasted. Zhou Yi licked the bag all the way, surrounded all the way to the top of the mountain. He knew that Li Yan was in that place. Zhou Yi must completely eliminate the Fire Alliance today. Don't let go of anyone who is a direct descendant of the Li family. Li Yan is still waiting for the good news on the top of the mountain. In his opinion, his 50 armored soldiers are invincible. If you carry each one out alone, you can pick out a saber-toothed tiger. Even if there are 50 armored soldiers, only 20 of them can easily defeat Zhou Yi. But after waiting for a long time, I didn't wait for the news that Zhou Yi was killed. Instead, a descendant of the Li family came back in a panic and said, Master Li, it's bad. We are surrounded by a group of Titan pythons. Li Yan felt strange when he heard this. Aren't all the Titanoboa on the island in the primeval forest? How come Titanoboa appears here? Before he could ask a question, waves of "Sisi" sounds came from around him. This kind of voice is very familiar to the dozen or so subordinates around Li Yan. This was the sound they could only hear when they entered the primeval forest and were surrounded by a nest of giant pythons when the python disaster broke out. They were all broken into cold sweats. Titanoboa is so huge that it can swallow people with just one opening of its mouth. They were wearing excellent grade armor, which was completely useless. Titanoboa swallows a person and his armor together and digests it directly into his stomach. It doesn't matter whether you wear armor or not. The men around Li Yan had begun to panic. Only Li Yan is not aware of this problem yet, so please don't panic yet. It's just a group of little snakes, there's nothing to be afraid of. You are all the best loyal ministers of my Li family, go up and destroy them. At this time, Li Yan's younger disciples looked like Babo Banur when they heard that you were going to get rid of the 4 masters and disciples of Tang Monk. A look of disgust. At this time, the captain sent by Li Yan to encircle Zhou Yi escaped and shouted. Young Master Li, Zhou Yi tamed a Tarbosaurus at some point, and there are also a group of Titanoboa, and they are now heading towards the mountain. Let's go quickly. If you don't leave, you won't have a chance. Li Yan was shocked when he heard the news. Go. Where to go? These Titanoboa are all Zhou Yi's tame animals. There is also a Tarbosaurus. What the hell? Li Yan asked. Where are my armored soldiers? Let them destroy the giant python quickly. The captain regretted. Brothers are all heroic. Li Yan was completely confused. What? I spent 2,000 excellent grade metal pieces to build an army, but it is so vulnerable. There was no time left for Li Yan to be shocked. Roar. There was a roar from the bottom of the mountain, which scared Li Yan so much that his heart skipped a beat. It means that the Tarbosaurus is already nearby. Zhou Yi himself didn't even need to show up, he only needed to send a group of tamed beasts to deal with him. At this time, a group of Titan pythons that had swam beside Li Yan pounced on Li Yan. Hundreds of Titanoboa opened their bloody mouths at the same time. It's scary to think about it. Li Yan was so frightened that he peed when he saw such a scene. There are only a dozen direct descendants left around him, which are of no use at all. Li Yan could only take out the scroll to return to the city, turn it into a beam of light and teleport away. When Li Yan used the scroll to return to the city to escape, Zhou Yi had already learned about it by peeking into Xiao Hei's mind. Li Yan's escape had long been guessed by Zhou Yi. Li Yan has used this routine countless times. Zhou Yi also suffered several losses, so when he ordered Xiao Hei and Tarbosaurus to go to the top of the mountain, he was already making the next step. He learned the exact coordinates of Li Yan's base from Zheng Pengfei. So I went back and activated my third-level base first. A bunch of stones were traded from the World Channel. A pile of 10-ton iron balls were prepared for firing. After Li Yan used the scroll to return to the city and escaped back to the base, I felt relieved. This is a third-level base. It is impossible for Zhou Yi to break in. As long as he stays in the base, he'll be fine. When I think about my 2,000 pieces of excellent grade metal pieces being wasted like this, suddenly I was very angry. While I was thinking about how to settle this account, suddenly heard, boom, there was a loud noise, and then the top of his head began to shake violently. The tables, chairs and benches in the room were all staggered. Furniture was smashed everywhere. Li Yan could hardly stand still. What's going on? Li Yan roared. The boy sitting in the cab on the second floor said, Master Li, it's bad. We are being attacked by an aerial fortress. Flying fortress. It must be Zhou Yi. Li Yan gritted his teeth and said, the upgrade direction chosen for his third-level base is also the Sky Fortress. Zhou Yi's attack on him must have been from the sky. Li Yan immediately ordered, take off. Fight back immediately. The boy in the cockpit on the second floor pulled the control stick and began to control the takeoff of the third-level base. Along with a roar came. Another flying fortress took off in the sky. At this time, Zheng Pengfei was also eager to save his sister and did not listen to Zhou Yi's words and stayed at home. They also rushed over to support the Chigu tribe and fight with the people of the Fire Alliance. Zheng Pengfei, who killed a direct descendant of the Li family with one knife, raised his head and looked at the sky. I couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Two air fortresses were suspended above his head, confronting each other in the sky. One of the flying fortresses is trembling. The other one is as stable as Mount Tai. There was a muffled sound of springs from the siege crossbow mounted below. Suddenly a huge crossbow was fired at the swaying aerial fortress. Whoosh! The giant crossbow traced a trajectory and hit the opponent steadily. The sky fortress, which was already bumping up and down, became even more bumpy. Zheng Pengfei stood below and watched with fear. He knew that one of them must belong to Zhou Yi, but he didn't know which one was his. At this time, Zhou Yi, who was sitting in the cockpit, was controlling his air fortress to fly steadily in the air. When he saw another sky fortress rising below, his heart suddenly became happy. This must belong to Li Yan. Unexpectedly, this guy also obtained the floating stone and upgraded the sky fortress. Because Li Yan's sky fortress was hit with a huge boulder in advance, it was obviously a little unstable during takeoff, swaying, and looking like it might crash at any time. Zhou Yi took the opportunity to aim at the opponent, and used the siege crossbow mounted below to fire another big shot at it. The flying fortress on the opposite side was crumbling. Li Yan's air fortress also has two external attack weapons, two siege crossbows at the front and rear. But as soon as he took off, the base was shaky. He couldn't even stand firmly inside, and he couldn't even aim. At this moment, Zhou Yi fired another crossbow arrow. The guy in the cockpit on the second floor of the taxi yelled, Master Li, we are about to crash. Li Yan couldn't hold on any longer. If this continued, the plane would really crash. While giving orders to the younger brother on the second floor, let him drive the sky fortress to escape first. Then Li Yan quickly contacted his uncle Li Tianlin, asking for support. Li Yan asked Li Tianlin for help. After all, Li Yan is a core member of the Li group. As the boss of the Li group, Li Tianlin could not ignore death. After Li Tianlin spent a short time asking about the situation, discovering that Li Yan's situation has reached an extremely critical moment. So I directly used a precious and excellent item, two-way teleportation. Two-way teleportation is a very powerful prop that can establish a teleportation channel between two people regardless of distance. Li Yan discovered that there was something extra in his trading platform. A dark square box. Open the box according to his uncle Li Tianline's instructions. Then I found that a blue portal suddenly appeared in front of me. Then, a man with his upper body naked appeared from the portal. This man's nickname is Diamond, and he is a key member of the Li group. He was the reinforcement sent by Li Tianline to help Li Yan deal with Zhou Yi. Li Yan knew that this was the backbone of the group and came specially to save him. Not daring to neglect, he directly called out, "Brother," when meeting him. "Where is Zhou Yi?" Diamond didn't hesitate and asked directly. Li Yan pointed at the sky fortress chasing them opposite. "That kid is inside." Diamond nodded, then his body turned into a blue light and disappeared in front of Li Yan in a flash. In Zhou Yi's third-level base, Zhou Yi is sitting in the cockpit controlling the air fortress. Originally, he planned to shoot down Li Yan's base in the sky. But Li Yan, a coward, couldn't beat him and turned around and ran away. He can only control the base and chase all the way. Chased directly from the island to the sea. At this time, Zhou Yi suddenly felt an unusual movement coming from his base. When he turned around, he couldn't help but be startled. I saw someone in his cockpit on the second floor. This man was shirtless and wearing short leather pants. His eyes were silent. The moment he saw him, Zhou Yi had only one question. How did this person get in? He is flying in the sky. The base hatch is closed tightly. Where did this guy come from? Zhou Yi became alert in an instant. The other party appeared in his base without anyone noticing. It must be like him, the one who got the black scroll at the beginning. Diamond's body gradually changed, and a layer of crystal blue crystals condensed on his surface, gradually covering his whole body. It's like the body is covered with a layer of crystals. This layer of crystal not only covered his body, but also extended from his hands, forming two huge blue claws. The claw tips are all made of the sharpest blue crystals polished. His appearance suddenly became ferocious. Diamond jumped up and rushed towards Zhou Yi, opening his two sharp claws and sweeping towards Zhou Yi. If the other party comes up and says hello, he will start to fight. Zhou Yi also guessed that the visitor was probably Li Yan's reinforcements. I am not a vegetarian either. So he put on the excellent armor and held the Macedonian spear in his hand. One spear blocks two claws. At the same time, a spear hit Diamond's back. Zhou Yi's spear hit with a force of nearly 2.5 tons. The diamond was hit hard by a spear, and the crystal behind it was smashed into pieces, splattering everywhere in the cockpit. Even the bare skin of the back was exposed. Diamond was also surprised. It seems that Zhou Yi was not expected to be so powerful. Soon his back was covered with crystals again. The number of crystals was even greater than before, wrapping his whole body like a cocoon. Two paws waved on Zhou Yi's back. The armor on Zhou Yi's body made a harsh and unpleasant friction sound. The defensive performance of excellent armor is still superior enough. The two claws did not break the surface. In the small cockpit, two people were engaged in a fierce life and death fight. In just 1 minute, there is no intact area in the entire cockpit. They are all scratches left by claws. Not only the wall, Zhou Yi's armor was also covered with scratches. There was even a gaping hole in the chest of the armor. Diamond's claws were swung many times, leaving a crack in the armor. Zhou Yi and Diamond fought fiercely. Discovered the characteristics of this person's supernatural powers. The crystals on his body are his weapons. If the crystals covering the whole body are many and thick, the body will be full of power, and whether it is punching or sweeping with claws, it will be very powerful. Need to be avoided. If the crystals on his body become thinner, his strength will weaken, but his agility will increase accordingly. He is very sensitive and his moves are elusive. Apart from the boss of the Shajia gang, this is the second very difficult opponent Zhou Yi has encountered. Boom! Suddenly there was a loud noise outside the base. Then the entire cockpit began to shake violently. Zhou Yi fought fiercely with Diamond and was unable to concentrate on driving, so he temporarily set him to autopilot. Li Yan must have seized the opportunity. Launch a counterattack. Above the sea, another flying fortress. Cockpit. The younger brother who was driving excitedly took credit. I shot him. Li Yan. Great job, keep going, shoot it into the sea. Li Yan's eyes flashed with madness. On a desert island. Zhang Pengfei's heart pierced his throat. 1 second ago, one flying fortress was chasing another. The next second the form reverses. The pursuing party became in danger. Zhang Pengfei began to pray in his heart. Brother Zhou must win. In the sky, after Zhou Yi discovered that his base had been hit by an arrow. The decision must be made quickly. If it drags on any longer, the situation will be bad. Zhou Yi took a deep breath. My body started to feel hot, as if I had taken a stimulant. The wild awakens. Zhou Yi's speed suddenly doubled. The Macedonian spear has been thrown away by him. In a small space, it is better to use your fists. Zhou Yi punched Diamond hard on the chest. Diamond was surprised by Zhou Yi's sudden increase in speed and had no time to react. Crystals gathered in his chest, trying to block the punch. Zhou Yi improved not only his nervous response, but also his strength. With one punch, 5 tons of brute force hit him in the face. Diamond felt like he had been hit by a truck. All the crystals on my chest were blown to pieces. Zhou Yi cracked all the crystals with one punch. Diamond's whole chest collapsed. Blood spurted out of his mouth. He sat in the corner and twisted his neck. People are already exhausted. Zhou Yi found that Diamond was punched to death by himself. Immediately restrained the wild awakening. The body begins to relax. A slight feeling of fatigue came from the limbs. In that short moment just now, a lot of physical strength had been consumed. Zhou Yi quickly stepped back into the cockpit and released the automatic driving. Control the base to glide over the sea and launch a counterattack against Li Yan. Zhou Yi was only hit by 1 arrow, while Li Yan's level 3 base was hit by 2 arrows and hit by a boulder. Both sides were injured to a certain extent, but Zhou Yi's injury was obviously lighter. It is much more stable to control. Zhou Yi seized the opportunity. An arrow shot directly into the cockpit of the flying fortress opposite. He directly sent the younger brother who was driving the sky fortress to see the living king of hell. The cockpit was penetrated by an arrow. Li Yan's 3rd level base fell directly into the sea. Create huge waves on the water. Then it slowly sank downwards. In this deep sea, there are endless dangers. Li Yan will definitely die without a burial place now. Even if his life is tougher than that of a cockroach, he is still dead. It would be useless to give him 10 more teleportation scrolls. Zhou Yi looked at the level 3 base sinking on the sea. His face suddenly changed. No, the light rain is still inside. Zhou Yi felt that his heartbeat suddenly began to accelerate. The simple faces of the brother and sister suddenly flashed in my mind. Then open the hatch. Take a leap. He jumped towards the level 3 base which was sinking towards the sea. On the endless sea, a level 3 base broke through the sea and was slowly sinking. Although the materials of the 3rd level base are high-density stone and metal. But there are mostly cavities inside, so the sinking speed will not be very fast. When Zhou Yi jumped from the air, the seawater had not completely flooded the base. Bang! A heavy muffled sound. Zhou Yi stepped on the surface of the base. Got in through the broken cockpit window. Seawater will soon pour in. Zhou Yi must find Xiaoyu as soon as possible and rescue her. The entire base has tilted at a 70 degrees angle in the seawater. Zhou Yi got into the living room from the cockpit along the sloping floor. After Zhou Yi got into the living room, he first saw Li Yan who was in contact with his uncle Li Tianlin. Li Yan still did not give up hope of survival, asking Li Tianlin if there is any way to continue to make money for him. There is nothing Li Tianlin can do this time, so let his nephew go in peace. He will avenge his nephew. Even Li Tianlin said so. Li Yan died like ashes. He is not willing to die like this. At this time, a person suddenly jumped in from the cockpit. Li Yan and Zhou Yi looked at each other. Enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. Zhou Yi had nothing to say to him. Death was the last word he sent to Li Yan. Join the Li group. Help me. How about I give you half of everything I can get after I get out? Unexpectedly, Li Yan begged him for mercy at the last moment of his life. Join the Li group. Roll. Zhou Yi uttered one word. There is no time to talk to him. Zhou Yi was about to deal with him and save Xiaoyu. Li Yan's eyes turned ferocious. He took out a pistol from his arms and pointed it at Zhou Yi. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. This is a very old-looking revolver. Wearing ordinary soft body armor can prevent its bullets. But what Zhou Yi is wearing now is not a body armor, but an excellent armor. Zhou Yi was not sure whether the excellent armor could withstand the power of the gun. Li Yan, let me ask you again, to save or not to save? Zhou Yi said something from between his teeth. Didn't I make it clear? Get out. When Zhou Yi said this sentence, he raised his right hand. Then a crazy storm tore through the surrounding space within 5 meters. Before Li Yan had time to shoot, his body was already covered with terrible claw marks. These claw marks penetrated his body, as if scratched by a wild animal. Frenzy claw strike. Li Yan breathed his last with a look in his eyes. His last thought before dying was, this person took action before he finished speaking, showing no moral ethics. In fact, he forgot. When Zhou Yi met him for the first time, he dealt with him in the same unruly manner. Zhou Yi snatched the pistol away from Li Yan. Then he kicked Li Yan's body away. Too much time was wasted on him. You shouldn't have pressed him so hard just now, wasting so much time in vain. Seawater has poured in from the cockpit. A large amount of seawater washed down, and Zhou Yi almost lost his footing. Once seawater comes in, the base will sink faster. Zhou Yi quickly rushed into several rooms from the living room. There are 4 rooms in total connected to the living room. The first room on the left, open the door, it's empty. Zhou Yi quickly came to the second room. The door is locked. Boom. One punch hit the door directly. What was inside shocked Zhou Yi. Excellent grade metal sheet, excellent grade stone, energy stone, fine grade metal piece, fine grade stone, fine wood. Stacks and stacks were piled in rows, all of which were rare materials. The whole house is filled with piles. Zhou Yi didn't have time to think too much about how much he could bring with him. First, stuff a lot of energy stones into your dimensional backpack. After everything is stuffed, then the excellent grade metal pieces are placed. Put them into your backpack one by one. Next is the excellent grade stone. As long as it is an excellent level thing, Zhou Yi will not let it go. Put them all into the dimensional backpack. Zhou Yi had no choice but to give up all the remaining high-quality materials. Because the seawater has reached his chest. If he had time, he would definitely take away everything here. Zhou Yi stepped forward in the seawater. Not only from the cockpit, but also from the cracks in the base door, seawater began to leak in. If the door cannot withstand the water pressure, in the end, it will be directly washed away by the seawater, and the entire base will be completely submerged. At this time, Zhou Yi only had his head floating on the water. Slowly tiptoeing towards the third room. After kicking open the door, I found that the third door was half flooded by seawater. There is nothing on the water. Zhou Yi got into the water, only to find a girl with her hands tied up with ropes and her legs curled up in a corner. Because her hands were tied, she couldn't save herself in the water. Has fallen into a semi-conscious state. When she glanced at the door that was suddenly opened with half-closed eyes, she saw an unexpected figure. Then those eyes suddenly opened, and a strong sense of survival burst out of his body. He pushed the wall with his legs and rode towards Zhou Yi. The girl in front of me is Xiao Yu. Zhou Yi also rode towards Yu Yu and held her tightly in his arms. Then he took out the return scroll from his backpack. Tear it open. A blue halo of light flashed in front of my eyes. Zhou Yi hugged Xiao Yu and plunged into the circle of light. Call, Hu. In Zhou Yi's third-level base. Both of them collapsed on the floor with heavy breathing in their chests. The clothes on his body were soaked by the seawater, and they were hanging on his body. Xiao Yu's hair was completely wet by the seawater, drooping on the oval-shaped face. The thin clothes stick to the white and tender skin, full of wet temptation. Xiao Yu drank a lot of water before Zhou Yi came in. At this time he coughed violently. Zhou Yi has been holding her, and now he loosens her slightly, while patting her back. At the same time, he unbuttoned the collar on her chest to let her breathe easier. Thinking of the thrilling scene just now, Zhou Yi felt scared in his heart. There are many dangers under the deep sea. If a black dragon passes by and bites it out of curiosity. Zhou Yi didn't know if a level 3 base could withstand 10 tons of bite force. Zhou Yi also discovered something. Having someone on base to help is very important. For example, Just now, the Diamond Man suddenly sneaked into the base using some unknown method. Zhou Yi had to deal with the intruders alone. We need to drive the base again. There was no way around it, and I was in a hurry. Therefore, Zhou Yi decided that besides himself, there must be other people stationed in his base. Zhou Yi looked at Xiao Yu in his arms. Xiao Yu must stay. Even if his brother asked him for it, Zhou Yi would not agree. Xiao Yu coughed up the water she had choked in her lungs and finally felt better. He raised his beautiful big eyes and looked at brother Zhou. This is already the number of times Zhou Yi has saved her life. Xiao Yu didn't even know how to repay him. I could only blush, lower my head and whisper. Brother Zhou, thank you for saving me again. I don't even know how to repay you. Zhou Yi patted Xiao Yu's tender back and said dissatisfied. From now on, we will be one of our own family, so why should we talk about repaying? After Zhou Yi finished speaking, he realized that there seemed to be something wrong with what he said. It made Xiao Yu blush. With a low moan like a mosquito, Xiao Yu buried her head and stopped talking. Looking at the shy Xiao Yu, Zhou Yi didn't care. Let her go. Anyway, he plans to let Xiao Yu stay in his base from now on. It's better to speak clearly. Not only does Xiao Yu have to stay at the base, Xiao Yu also has to have a certain ability to protect himself in the future. Xiao Yu also wants to eat meat, because in case of danger. Zhou Yi had no time to distract herself from protecting her. It is also part of Zhou Yi's plan to cultivate Xiao Yu into a virtuous wife and a partner with certain immediate combat capabilities. Let's take our time with these things later. Xiao Yu's clothes were all wet. We can't let her stay cold like this. Zhou Yi lifted Xiao Yu up from the ground. The palms of Xiao Yu, who is only 16 years old, are soft and gentle. Xiao Yu, you go take a shower first to avoid catching a cold. Zhou Yi said. Xiao Yu nodded obediently, and then ran to the bathroom to take a shower alone. There are no clothes for girls here in Zhou Yi. I found a piece of clothing that I had worn before and put it on Xiao Yu first. Then Zhou Yi drove the base and flew directly from the sea to the island. While Zhou Yi was driving the Sky Fortress, while checking the supplies just obtained from Li Yan. This material is quite generous. Almost all of Li Yan's belongings. Zhou Yi stuffed everything into his backpack without having time to count. Only now do I have time to take stock. A total of X1500 excellent grade metal sheets. Excellent grade stone X800. Energy stone X1000. This amount of supplies is enough to build a second level 3 base. It seems that the financial resources of the Li group cannot be underestimated. Zhou Yi woke up and take some time to pay attention to the Li group. The Diamond Man appeared out of thin air. Zhou Yi had never seen this man on the island before. It is most likely that the Li family was behind Li Yan's support. Zhou Yi decided to thoroughly investigate the Li family when he returned to the island. In case there are any tails that haven't been cut off cleanly. Zhou Yi also discovered something. A black square box. He picked it up near Li Yan's body. Zhou Yi didn't know what this was. So I took a photo and sent it to the boss of the Shajia gang. Ask him to help. Shan Yan's news soon came back. Tell him this is a rare and excellent item. It's called two-way transmission. After trading to the other party, a two-way portal can be opened between the two designated places. Zhou Yi understands it a bit like any gate. But there must be a target person to receive it. Zhou Yi reacted immediately. This thing can be used as an escape weapon. But why didn't Li Yan use this thing to escape at that time? Shan Yan. This thing has a cooling time and can only be used once a day. This is a good thing. It gives you one more chance to save your life. Brother Zhou, where did you get it? Zhou Yi. I got it from the leader of a group of small forces. I don't know how to use it, so I came to ask. Shan Yan. Okay, have things on the island been dealt with? Do you need my help? Zhou Yi. It's done. Thank you for your concern, no need. Zhou Yi closed the chat window. Looking at the excellent item in his hand, two-way transmission. He suddenly figured out how the Diamond Man appeared. It should have come from an unknown area through this thing. Zhou Yi kept it first. Excellent level props are relatively rare. Brother Zhou. Xiao Yu's voice interrupted Zhou Yi's thinking. I have no clothes to wear. Xiao Yu's somewhat embarrassed voice came from the shower room. Only then did Zhou Yi remember that he had prepared clothes for Xiao Yu, but he didn't send them in for her. The clothes are still outside. Zhou Yi said to Xiao Yu. Wait a minute, I'll bring you the clothes. Then he opened the bathroom door and walked in. Chigu tribe. Xiao San, Ankylosaurus and Pyroraptor have returned to the Chigu tribe. They all stayed outside the village. Pyroraptor saw that the people of the Chigu tribe were still a little sneaky. The irritating smile at the corner of his mouth remained unsatisfied. The mistress yelled twice to stop me. Xiao San also received favors from the Chigu tribe. 2 primitive people fed him fern leaves. Xiao San always remembered this incident, and when he saw the thieving look of the Pyroraptor, he immediately stopped it. He was not allowed to eat members of the Chigu tribe. Xiao He was also sitting on a big tree, watching curiously. Only Tarbosaurus is not in the village. At this time, all direct descendants of the Li family on the mountain had been wiped out. Basically all the remaining members of the Fire Alliance surrendered. The brains are quite stubborn, and the very few who don't surrender have been killed. A large group of people from the Fire Alliance gathered in the village, being watched by people from the Alliance of Hope. Wang Ming did not dare to execute these people privately. He was waiting for Zhou Yi to appear. According to his idea, it would be best to absorb all the people from the Fire Alliance into the Hope Alliance to strengthen his power. But we have to wait for Zhou Yi to agree. If you want to ask him why he is so afraid. Didn't you see the 6-meter-long Ankylosaurus and the nearly 5-meter-long Triceratops around the village looking at it with eager eyes? Not to mention there is a Titanoboa coiled up in the tree outside. Titanoboa King stared at him with fierce eyes. Wang Ming's palms had begun to sweat. The leader of the Chago tribe is a primitive man with feathers on his head and oil paint on his face. The face is expressionless, giving people a complete sense of indifference. Riding on his crotch is a dire wolf as big as a saber-toothed tiger. The Chago tribe is a terrible cannibal tribe. We were enemies with the Chigu tribe in the past. Conflicts often broke out between the two sides. This time, because the Fire Alliance was very involved, the Chago tribe chose to attack the Fire Alliance. Zheng Pengfei also came outside the village, and there was also the old patriarch of the Chigu tribe. Wang Ming stood together with the leader of the Chago tribe. Basically all the power leaders in the entire 851 area are here. Zheng Pengfei subconsciously stood with the leader of the Chigu tribe. Stay away from Wang Ming and the Chago tribe. I don't know how these two groups of forces got together. Zheng Pengfei only believes in Zhou Yi now, and no one else. Zhou Yi's base soon landed at the village. Zhou Yi came out of the gate first. Xiao Yu followed closely behind, her face red. As soon as Zheng Pengfei saw Xiao Yu, he excitedly went up to meet her. Xiao Yu, are you okay? Brother, I'm fine. Seeing that Xiao Yu was fine, Zheng Pengfei, who had been worried for several nights, could finally feel relieved. Hey, Xiao Yu, why are you looking so red? Do you have a fever? Zheng Pengfei looked at Xiao Yu's red face and couldn't help asking strangely. Xiao Yu was a little shy. At this time, people around looked at her again. Brother, I'm fine, don't ask, it's so embarrassing. Xiao Yu lowered his head and said. Ha ha, okay, I won't ask any more. Zheng Pengfei smiled happily and said, as long as Xiao Yu is safe. Zhou Yi saved his sister again, and Zheng Pengfei didn't know how to thank him anymore. Zhou Yi doesn't need to thank Zheng Pengfei for anything. In his opinion, Zheng Pengfei is one of his own. Wang Ming came over as soon as he saw Zhou Yi appear. Brother Zhou, these are the remnants of the Fire Alliance. A total of 73 people are here. You decide what to do with them. Wang Ming said this. It can be seen as a gesture of goodwill or bowing. Zhou Yi didn't say anything. These 73 people heard that Wang Ming had put all their futures in Zhou Yi's hands. I couldn't help but tremble with fear. Some directly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy, begging Zhou Yi to spare their lives. After all, the purpose of the Fire Alliance was, Zhou Yi must be eliminated. This is what they had to promise Li Yan when they joined the Fire Alliance. To put it another way, there is nothing wrong with Zhou Yi killing all his former enemies. This group of people knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. Some people pretend to be cows or horses. Zhou Yi's ears hurt when he heard this. Zhou Yi asked, whoever is the direct descendant of the Li family, please stand up for yourself. Someone in the crowd immediately began to identify. The direct descendants of the Li family still know about these people who have been with the Fire Alliance for a long time. Because Li Yan usually gives priority to the direct descendants of the Li family when he has good things. You can tell who is the direct descendant at a glance. After being identified by the people around him, a man with a horse face finally stood up. Zhou Yi came to see him alone just to understand the situation of the Li family. This horse-faced man didn't want to say anything at all. Because he knows that his next fate, needless to say, he will definitely die. It didn't matter to him whether he said it or not, he would die. Zhou Yi, if you tell me the truth, I can spare your life. The horse-faced man showed disdain. Ghost letter. Zhou Yi looked at him calmly. In front of so many people here, do you think I will break my promise? The horse-faced man looked at Zhou Yi's calm eyes, and a flash of emotion flashed in his heart. Who wants to die if he can live? It's better to choose to believe him once. Li Yan is dead anyway. Living on this desert island, no matter how far the Li family reaches out, it has nothing to do with him. So the horse-faced man chose to believe it once and revealed the truth to Zhou Yi. The Li family was originally a multinational group on Earth. Huge in size, it can rank among the top 500 companies internationally. The entire Li family is in power not only from the Li family of the Hua Kingdom, but also from the Li family of the Bangxi Kingdom. The two Li families merged to form the Li Group. The former leader of the Li family of Hua Kingdom was Li Tianlin. Li Tianlin himself has 3 sons, a daughter and 2 nephews. Li Yan is Li Tianlin's nephew. The person in charge of the Li family in Bangxi Kingdom is called Li Taichen. After coming to this world, the two Li families were temporarily separated. It is unclear whether there will be a merger. Judging from the cooperation between the two families in the previous life, in this more dangerous world, the two Li families will still choose to join forces. The area where Li Tianlin is located is District 2053, which is far away from here. It is a large area with a population upper limit of 700,000. But it is not ruled out that Li Tianlin will use some special method to deal with Zhou Yi after learning that Li Yan is dead. After all, Li Tianlin had used two-way transmission to send an expert to Li Yan before. In short, the Li family is currently very large. It's not something Zhou Yi can deal with now. That's why Li Yan was able to recruit so many people to join the Fire Alliance with the appeal of the Li family. I learned from the horse-faced man that there were at least 20 key members around Li Tianlin. There are at least 20 people like Diamond. If Li Tianlin desperately goes out to avenge Li Yan, Zhou Yi could only run away. After learning that there was such a potential threat, Zhou Yi's expression became solemn. There is a Hong family to the east, and a Li family far away in an unknown area. These big forces are not something he can contend with. After Zhou Yi heard this, he let the horse-faced man go. You don't have to die, you can continue to live on this island. The horse-faced man was shocked at first, then looked ecstatic. Zheng Pengfei stood aside, frowning slightly. Do you think Zhou Yi is a little too soft-hearted? This person is a direct descendant of the Li family. What if he is left alive and continues to reveal any information to Li Tianlin here? Zheng Pengfei felt that it would be necessary to remind Zhou Yi later not to be too kind. To be kind to your enemies is to be cruel to yourself. Zhou Yi naturally has his own ideas. Li Yan has already disclosed the information that should be revealed. Just because he keeps this person doesn't mean he's kind. Zhou Yi will naturally use them to do something next. Wang Ming didn't understand Zhou Yi's thoughts either. If the people from the Fire Alliance are left behind, doesn't this give the hostile forces a chance to grow again? Not only that, Zhou Yi directly announced that the remaining members of the Fire Alliance can continue to survive on the island. This move made Wang Ming confused. Wang Ming took the opportunity and said, Brother Zhou, why not give these people from the Fire Alliance to me? In my hands, I will ensure that these people will not cause any trouble. Zhou Yi can deal with these Fire Alliance people however he wants, but he can't leave it to Wang Ming. Not only cannot it be handed over to him, this person is the person Zhou Yi must get rid of. The conflict between Zhou Yi and the Fire Alliance was caused by this person. Your enemy is not scary, it is the person who is fighting against the enemy. His purpose is simple, to instigate the surrounding forces to consume each other and benefit from it himself. It is true that Zhou Yi wants to get rid of the Fire Alliance, but Wang Ming also wants to get rid of the Fire Alliance. It can be seen that Wang Ming was using him as a gun to kill the enemy for himself. Moreover, this Wang Ming also deliberately handed over the remaining 70 or so remnants of the Fire Alliance to him, took the initiative to lower his head to show his goodwill, and lurked in a low-key manner. It shows how deep this person is. Because his current strength is not Zhou Yi's opponent, he has to do this. If one day he surpasses himself, he will be the first to be killed. Moreover, Wang Ming also secretly got in touch with the Chago tribe, a cannibal, with impure motives. This kind of person is a real careerist. And he also knows how to be honest. Staying around is definitely a huge risk. The threats from the Li family and the Hong family outside were so great that Zhou Yi had already made plans to destroy the iron barrels of the island's operations. Although he doesn't like to play with power. But he doesn't like people playing tricks behind his back. It's better to listen to him alone on this island, there is no need for a second voice. Zhou Yi directly took out the Macedonian spear. When Wang Ming saw Zhou Yi showing off his spear, he was startled. "Brother Zhou, what do you mean? I'll help you destroy the Fire Alliance." Wang Ming pretended to look innocent and shouted loudly. Others were also dumbfounded. Why did Zhou Yi attack Wang Ming? Wang Ming helped eliminate the Fire Alliance. Why did Zhou Yi want to eliminate a hero? He deserves to die, Zhou Yi said coldly. Zhou Yi didn't need to explain to them or make any sense. It makes sense to have a big fist. If you keep Wang Ming, he will be the one who will regret it in the future. When Wang Ming saw that Zhou Yi was determined to kill him, he knew that he could no longer pretend. So he simply tore off the disguise and shouted with a cold face. "Where is Wang Kar-wai?" Immediately, more than a dozen hardcore guards from the Hope Alliance jumped out. These people were actually wearing excellent level armor, and each of them held an excellent level scimitar. Wang Ming glanced at the Chago tribe leader next to him. He opened his mouth and said something horrifying. "Chief Chago, you promised to sacrifice the boy as a sacrifice before, and today you will kill Zhou Yi together for me." Hiss. As soon as Wang Ming finished speaking, the whole audience took a deep breath. It turns out that this Wang Ming was secretly offering fresh boys to the Chago tribe. That's why the Chago tribe was won over. Good guy. Act decisively and ruthlessly. Zhou Yi's eyes turned cold. Wang Ming couldn't stay. "Which of you dares to touch my brother Zhou?" Zhang Pengfei jumped out, immediately drew out his knife, and protected Zhou Yi behind him. His eyes glanced sharply at Wang Ming and the leader of the Chago tribe. There is a tendency to take action if there is a disagreement. Chago, the leader of the Chago tribe, had a cold face. Face stern, he took out a horn-shaped horn from his waist, put it in his mouth and blew it. Woo! A deep voice sounded. Then a group of Chago tribe members jumped out of the woods outside the Chagu tribe. Ouch! The dire wolf under Chago also raised its head and roared. Shishasha! A large group of dire wolves rushed in from outside the village. There were about 100 of them, surrounding Zhou Yi, Zhang Pengfei and others. Xiao San, Ankylosaurus, and Firoraptor also jumped over. The mistress bared her teeth and pointed the 2-meter-long, curved and sharp horns at Wang Ming. With a fierce look in his eyes, he warned. As long as it waits for Zhou Yi's order, it will pounce immediately. Xiao Yu saw such a scene for the first time and was so frightened that she hid behind Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi's generous back gave her a great sense of security. Zhou Yi patted Xiao Yu on the shoulder and asked her to go back to her base to hide. Wang Mingliang revealed his family background and thought he had shocked Zhou Yi, so he asked again with cold eyes. "Zhou Yi, do you really want to kill everyone?" Zhou Yi also revealed his wealth and took out the revolver he had confiscated from Li Yan. The gun was pointed at Wang Ming. "Nonsense. Do you think I'm joking with you?" Bang! Zhou Yi shot directly at Wang Ming. Zhou Yi had trained with live ammunition in the army before. He is extremely proficient in playing with guns. The marksmanship is even more accurate and terrifying. A Wang Kar-wai suddenly jumped out. He stood in front of Wang Ming. The bullet hit the excellent armor. This Wang Kar-wai was hit by the huge potential energy of the revolver and lay on the ground, his life and death unknown. Zhou Yi's shot was a signal. The rest of the Wang family drew their knives and rushed forward at the same time. More than 100 dire wolves around him quickly rushed over and bit Zhou Yi at the same time. The mistress also let out an angry roar and pounced directly on a group of Wong Kar-Ways. Fighting with a group of Wong Kar-Wai. The scene was chaotic. There is an ankylosaurus next to Zhou Yi, and the big tail of the meteor hammer sweeps away. The body of the dire wolf could not withstand the force at all, and its sternum was broken by the hammer, and it howled loudly. In one sweep, several dire wolves were killed at the same time. The huge body of the ankylosaurus stood in front of Zhou Yi, and there was nothing the dinosaur could do against this behemoth. This is racial oppression. There is nothing you can do about it. Xiao He, who was sitting on a branch outside the village, saw Zhou Yi being besieged. He immediately swam down from the tree and spit out the snake message. Begins to call its younger brothers to join the battlefield. In the past, Titanoboa went to the top of the mountain to hunt the direct descendants of the Li family. There were not many Titanoboa at the foot of the mountain, only a few. The rest were coming quickly from the top of the mountain after hearing the leader's call. Outside the Chigu tribe's village, several huge snake heads raised high from the stone wall, peeping at the prey in the village. This scene gave Wang Ming a strong sense of panic. Those huge python heads, each one is as big as half a house. A group of pythons stare at you from behind the wall, and these pythons are huge. Each one is more than 10 or 20 meters long. A normal person would be scared to death just by seeing this scene. Wang Ming just saw with his own eyes that the number of pythons Zhou Yi could command was more than just these. At least a few hundred. If these pythons pounced collectively, he couldn't imagine the consequences. There is no hope of escape. If Zhou Yi hadn't been killed before the python group gathered, he would have been dead. Several Titanoboa also joined the battlefield and began to bite the group of dire wolves. Opening its huge mouth, it can swallow 2 to 3 dire wolves in one bite, and the huge snake body also explodes with great strength. Fighting with a pack of dire wolves. The huge body of the python is swaying around. The Chigu tribe's straw mat house fell to pieces. Even the stone wall was thrown away and the rubble collapsed. This shows the intensity of the battle. The dire wolf is not a vegetarian either. He grabbed the python's body with his teeth and pulled hard. You can tear off a big piece of meat. The painful python roared repeatedly and swayed its body. Soon, 2 Titanoboa fell to the bite of the dire wolves. What fell on the ground were more corpses of dire wolves. Wang Ming led Wang Jiawei to rush towards Zhou Yi. But the troublesome Triceratops in front always blocks their way. This Triceratops is very fierce. It was hard for Wang Ming to imagine that, as a herbivore, it actually pierced the chests of 3 Wong Kar-Ways with its horns. Directly killed 3 Wong Kar-Wai. But this Triceratops was also seriously injured. Its skin cannot withstand the sharpness of an excellent scimitar, except for its hard skull. His body had been scratched and bruised all over. Even so, it is still fighting very bravely and never retreats. It was in sharp contrast to the fire raptor who was the cat next to him and didn't dare to step forward. Because of the obstruction of the Triceratops, Wang Ming couldn't get close to Zhou Yi and was very anxious. Chop the Triceratops to death first. Wang Ming had no choice but to give the order. The remaining 8 or 9 Wong Kar-Wai immediately rushed forward, relying on the defense of the excellent armor. The group besieged the Triceratops. Unexpectedly, Zhou Yi ran out by himself at this time. Take the initiative to protect this Triceratops behind you. Zhou Yi looked at the shocking scars and bloody body on Xiao San's body. The anger in my heart began to explode. Whoever hurts Xiao San, Zhou Yi will never tolerate him. Go, kill Zhou Yi. When Wang Ming saw Zhou Yi rushing out on his own initiative, he was not surprised but overjoyed. Immediately command all Wang Jiawei to concentrate on dealing with Zhou Yi. Bang, 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 bang. The crisp sound of gunshots came from the village. Zhou Yi pulled out his revolver and fired several shots at Wong Kar-Wai who rushed over. Zhou Yi's gun hit the joint between the helmet and the breastplate. This is the weak spot in the defense of excellent level armor. 4 shots took away 4 Wong Kar-Wais. Zhou Yi pulled out his Macedonian spear and faced the remaining 4 Wang Jiawei. The wild awakens. A scalding heat began to surge in his body, and the arms holding the spear felt like they were tens of thousands of pounds strong. Zhou Yi rushed forward and swung his spear. Ah! A scream came out, and a Wong Kar-Wai was directly hit and flew more than 10 meters away, and his chest collapsed a lot. It's impossible to survive. The remaining Wang Jiawei were speared one by Zhou Yi, and they all flew away. Wang Ming didn't expect that Zhou Yi's most exaggerated feature was not that he was good at taming animals. He himself is more powerful than a tame beast. Run. When Wang Ming saw that Wang Kar-wai was dead, he turned around and ran away with his last hope. Zhou Yi didn't give him a chance to escape. A spear poked out from behind. It gave Wang Ming a chill and made his heart soar. Wang Ming, die. When Wang Ming died, several Wang Jiawei were also taken care of by Zhou Yi. The remaining members of the Hope Alliance were suddenly leaderless. In addition, there are several ferocious dinosaurs watching Zhou Yi around. People in the Hope Alliance suddenly did not dare to resist. Now that it has been done, Zhou Yi might as well do it to the end. Chago, the leader of the Chago tribe, is left. They are not good birds either, so just kill them all. Zheng Pengfei was injured in the fight with the Chago tribe people just now. One arm was bleeding. Zhou Yi rushed forward and covered Zheng Pengfei behind him. A spear pierced the chest of the Chago tribesman. Zheng Pengfei looked at these primitive people and reminded, "Brother Zhou, be careful. These primitive people are so powerful that it's scary. The Chago tribe often eats meat. Their bodies are much stronger than those of ordinary tribesmen and they are extremely powerful." In addition, there was a dire wolf accompanying him. Not that easy to deal with. Zhou Yi took the initiative to challenge 3 primitive people from the Chago tribe alone. These people are indeed physically strong, holding a stone spear and a stone axe, accompanied by a dire wolf who has been cooperating for a long time. The overall combat quality has exceeded that of ordinary players. Zhou Yi won on 3. It took a lot of effort to kill the 3 Chago tribesmen and the 3 dire wolves. The most difficult one to deal with is the Chago tribe. Riding on his crotch is a dire wolf king. A group of dire wolves gathered around the dire wolf king, more than 20 of them. To deal with him, we must first deal with these dire wolves. Zhou Yi started to pant after using his skills twice, and his physical strength was a little weak. At the critical moment, the mistress is still brave. He was not afraid of the 20-odd dire wolves in front of him. He rushed forward, made a leap, and pointed the sharp horns more than 1 meter long above his head directly at the leader of the Chago clan. He threw the burly Chago tribesman to the ground. Then Zhou Yi saw a large group of dire wolves opening their teeth and sharp claws and jumping towards Xiao San's back. The figure of the mistress was completely submerged. Zhou Yi was also sweating in his heart. However, the dire wolf's claws are not as good as a blade forged from excellent grade metal. I can't break through the rough skin of the mistress. Zhou Yi also intentionally allowed Xiao San to experience these life and death struggles, which would be beneficial to his growth. Soon, Xiao Hei's python army outside the village has already arrived. A large group of Titanoboa swam in from the stone wall outside the village. Dozens of Titanoboa can fill the stronghold and start harvesting the battlefield. There were at least hundreds of Titanoboa swimming in from outside the stone wall. The Chago tribe was quickly slaughtered. Xiao San stood on a group of dire wolf carcasses. The horns on the top of the head poked at the dead body of the leader of the Chago tribe. Covered in blood, he raised his head and let out a roar. This scene gives people an indescribable feeling of shock. Zhou Yi still remembers that when he first adopted Xiaosan, it was still a very young Triceratops baby. Only 1.5 months have passed. It has now turned into a brave and fierce beast king. The profession of animal tamer is only now beginning to show its advantages. As long as Zhou Yi can control the leader of a group, he can almost continuously mobilize beast legions to join the battlefield. The rest of the people stood there stupidly. He was stunned by the terrifying fighting power of the beast tamer. Zhou Yi looked at the remaining people and said coldly, "Wang Ming and the leader of the Chago clan are dead. From now on, there will be no Fire Alliance or Hope Alliance. You can continue to survive on the island, but no one is allowed to propose forming a force again. If someone continues to want to build strength." Zhou Yi pointed his Macedonian spear at the Chago chief hanging on Xiaosan's horn. That's what happened to him. After Zhou Yi finished speaking, the remaining people who originally hoped to be in the alliance were shocked. I was shocked by Zhou Yi's words. If you build a force again, you will have trouble with the tough guy in front of you. Who dares to form another one? Some people defected to Zhou Yi on the spot. Proposed to let Zhou Yi form a force. Someone immediately called for them to continue following Zhou Yi. Boss Zhou, there are many dangers on this island. You will be the leader, and we will follow you together. Boss Zhou, I, Hu Hansen, am willing to go through fire and water for you, no matter what. The ancient times were too dangerous, please help us survive. Zhou Yi could see that these people were too dependent. Li Yan and Wang Ming formed the Fire Alliance and the Hope Alliance. I didn't get any benefit from these people. Instead, a lot of costs were spent on these people. What the man named Hu Hansen said. Zhou Yi can't even believe a single punctuation mark. You can go through fire and water, and you can say such bullshit without hesitation. Just now when Zhou Yi was about to kill Wang Ming, this man was a member of the Hope Alliance. Wang Ming was sold out immediately and huddled back. To put it bluntly, these people are here just to eat and drink. A group of people were talking lively. Some people even have names in mind. Just call it Zhou Meng. Zhou Yi is the leader of the Zhou League. They are all veteran employees who founded the gang. Let's all have fun with Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi watched them talk with great interest. I can't help but want to laugh a little. Zhou Yi said coldly, okay, you can follow me. You are responsible for your own food, drink, and diarrhea. If there is a natural disaster on the island, you go up first and I hide behind. What do you think? Zhou Yi's basin of cold water chilled them to their core. It's a little different from what they imagined. Shouldn't it be the boss who gives the orders and they just mess around? The expressions on these people's faces are so embarrassing now. Most of the people left on the spot. Only a small group of people, about a dozen or so, stayed. He was determined to follow Zhou Yi. These people were originally ordinary members of the Fire Alliance or the Hope Alliance. They choose to join forces not for anything else. Just to live better than now. These people all have some ideals and ambitions in their hearts. Everyone has a desire to be strong. If you follow the strong, you will naturally become stronger. They don't care what conditions Zhou Yi puts forward. Willing to bear the cost of living by oneself. I am also willing to develop and grow with Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi looked at these people and nodded slightly. No matter where you are, there are always a group of people who don't want to hang around and wait to die, but want to make progress. He can stay with this group of more than a dozen people for now. From now on, it will be the foundation of his power on the island. Pengfei, these people will be handed over to you first, and you can take them. Zhou Yi said to Zheng Pengfei. Zheng Pengfei was a little surprised. Brother Zhou, do you really have plans to form a force on the island? Zhou Yi nodded and gave him an affirmative answer. Zhou Yi has already planned to turn the island into his own back garden and rear area. Without forming a force, it would be difficult to completely control the island. Good. Zheng Pengfei became excited. A group of people can exert greater power than one person. If Zhou Yi wants to form a force, he will definitely agree. Have you thought of a name? My sister and I will be the first to join. Zheng Pengfei said excitedly. The Fire Alliance and the Hope Alliance are too polite, let's just call them the Survival Alliance. Zhou Yi said casually. He has always chosen names casually, such as Shaosun, Xiaohei, and Ajia. Zhou Yi has not forgotten his original purpose of coming to this world, which is to survive. That's why it's called Survival League. Area 2053. This is a barren area filled with yellow sand, a bit like the Loess Plateau. The Li family has roots in this area. Even in the barren Loess area, Li Tianlin still led the Li family to plunder a large amount of resources in this area. More than a dozen third-level bases were established for the Li family. One of the huge flying fortresses. This flying fortress is comparable in size to 3 ordinary flying fortresses. The 10-sided weapon rack is filled with weapons. When it stops on the ground, it looks like a huge and ferocious spider. Li Tianlin stood in the cockpit on the second floor. His face was gloomy. Just now he had personally confirmed that one of his nephews, Li Yan, was dead. Not only is Li Yan dead, but one of the key members he sent there, Diamond. It also crashed in Area 851. Diamond is a powerful level 4 psychic. Among the group of backbones under Li Tianlin, their strength can be ranked in the middle. Unexpectedly, Li Yan died without saving him. Li Yan is just a nephew, he will die if he dies. In such a big Li family, it's not worth the trouble to kill one of the direct line members. It is impossible for Li Tianlin to go to Area 851 to avenge Li Yan. It's a pity that Li Yan died. But Li Tianlin heard a piece of news. The island where Li Yan is located produces energy stones. Energy stones are an absolute good thing. Li Tianlin has been competing with several other major forces for energy stones in this Loess area. The reason why energy stones are so valuable is simple. Whoever has more energy stones will have more third-level bases. Therefore, Li Tianlin is determined to win the island that can produce large amounts of energy stones. Li Tianlin frowned. Area 851 is too far away from him, at least half the world away. It's simply not feasible to travel that far across to Area 851. After Li Tianlin thought for a while, contacted one of his sons Li Shuangzhong in Area 847. "What's up?" Li Shuangzhong asked. Li Tianlin, "Shuangzhong, are you now firmly established there? Basically, everyone has surrendered to our Li family. There is also a small force that has fled to the next area. I am about to destroy them." "Good. As expected of me, Li Tianlin's son." Li Tianlin praised. Then he said, "Your Tang brother Li Yan is dead." "Dead?" Li Shuangzhong was a little surprised, and then said without concealment. "What a waste. With the support of the Li group, it can't even take over a small area." Li Tianlin, "Well, so this is the opportunity God gives you, you have to seize it. The area where your Tang brother Li Yan is located is Area 851. It is an island and energy stones are produced on the island. No matter what, you, brother Tang, are from our Li family. You should avenge him. If you can capture that island, you can take away 70% of all the energy stones on the island and leave the remaining 30% to the group." Quote. Li Shuangzhong became excited when he heard that there were energy stones on the island. "Dad, leave it to me." Li Tianlin then traded something to Li Shuangzhong. A square black box. This is one of the props of two-way teleportation and the other one is in Li Yan's hand. Li Tianlin left this matter completely to Li Shuangzhong. He has only one request, that the island must be controlled by the Li family. Chigu tribe. After Zhou Yi established the Survival Alliance. First bring in Zheng Pengfei, Xiao Yu and the dozen or so people. In this way, the initial team of the Survival League is formed. The rest will be recruited. But Zhou Yi has strict recruitment conditions. The Survival League is not that easy to enter. Once you join an organization, you must do things for the organization. Put an end to all the fools who come in to eat and wait to die. Zhou Yi hasn't figured out the recruitment conditions yet, so he will discuss it with Zheng Pengfei later. Zhou Yi first asked these dozen people to go back individually. These dozen people are temporarily listening to Zheng Pengfei's command. Zheng Pengfei listened to Zhou Yi. In this way, Zhou Yi only needs to tell Zheng Pengfei if there is anything, and Zheng Pengfei will pass it on. Zheng Pengfei suffered a slight injury, but it's not a problem. He could just wrap it in a bandage himself. Zheng Pengfei wanted to see Xiao Yu before leaving, but Zhou Yi stopped him to prevent him from taking Xiao Yu away. "Xiao Yu, please stay here with me for now." Zhou Yi was determined to keep Xiao Yu behind this time. Zheng Pengfei happened to go with Zhou Yi. Hearing Zhou Yi say these words, his face was filled with joy. He patted Zhou Yi on the shoulder and said, "Brother Zhou has figured it out." Zhou Yi nodded. "What happened to Xiao Yu this time? I really figured it out. It's not safe for Xiao Yu to be left outside. It's better to follow me." Hearing what Zhou Yi said, Zheng Pengfei was completely relieved. "Great, my sister finally has someone to rely on. Then I won't disturb your good things." Zheng Pengfei could run away as fast as he could, fearing that Zhou Yi would regret it. "What words?" Zhou Yi shook his head. "Xiao Yu is only 16 years old, what good things can happen to Xiao Yu and me?" Where did Zheng Pengfei go? The scene where he went to deliver clothes to Xiao Yu in the bathroom suddenly appeared in Zhou Yi's mind. Zhou Yi immediately stopped the ulterior thoughts in his heart. What a life! Xiao Yu is only 16 years old. Zhou Yi immediately kicked out all those unrealistic ideas. The mistress is still injured. After two tribesmen from the Chigu tribe discovered that Xiao San was covered with stab wounds, they went to the house with frightened expressions and brought grass leaves to apply on Xiao San's wounds. The leaves of these grasses are covered with native medicine. Can help wounds heal. The two Chigu tribesmen had dark faces. Zhou Yi observed carefully and found that these two dark tribesmen were the two who fed Shaoxin grass leaves for the first time. The mistress also trusts them. Lie down lazily on the ground and let them apply herbs on your body. Zhou Yi found the old patriarch of the Chigu tribe. A thrilling battle took place in the village. Even many members of the tribe were implicated and died. The old patriarch had long since hid in the village. Zhou Yi found the old patriarch. Tell him that the other two human forces and the Chago tribe have been wiped out. Now that he has formed a force, there will no longer be forces on the island that threaten the Chigu tribe. Zhou Yi promised the old patriarch that he could protect the safety of the Chigu tribe. The old patriarch can only trust the young man in front of him. Young man, I believe in everything you have done. You are our forever friend of the Chigu tribe. This friend is not free. Zhou Yi wants to conduct a wave of material exchanges with the old patriarch. The old patriarch said, "You have promised to protect our Chigu tribe. We have no use for the energy stones, so I will give them to you." The old patriarch then added, "But you have to give us food." Zhou Yi guarantees him that he will have enough food. There are only about 30 people in the Chigu tribe, and they have no requirements for the quality of meat. The only requirement is to fill your stomach. Ordinary grade meat can still fill your stomach. Zhou Yi bought dozens of kilograms of meat from the World Channel. Give it to the old patriarch once and for all. The old patriarch and Zhou Yi were also acquaintances. Seeing that Zhou Yi had brought out enough food for their whole village to last for many days, he took Zhou Yi to the mine and showed him the remaining inventory that the tribe had accumulated to this day. When Zhou Yi entered, he was immediately surprised. Pieces of crystal clear purple stones almost filled up half of the cave. Chapter 91. According to the statistics of the old patriarch, there are at least more than 5,000 energy stones in this cave. The Chigu tribe can dig out about 100 energy stones from the underground energy stone mine every day. This is a rich and stable output, and Zhou Yi is very satisfied. It was agreed with the old patriarch that they would only be responsible for carrying energy stones every day, and the safety of the Chigu tribe would be left to Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi has already thought about it, leaving this matter to the Survival League, without him having to intervene. If such a simple little thing can't be done well, the Survival Alliance can be disbanded. After dealing with the affairs of the village, Zhou Yi still had a few things to deal with. It's almost time to find the lost Tarbosaurus. Although it did not return to the village, Zhou Yi could feel that it was in a very peaceful state. Cece. Xiao He stuck out his tongue and swam over, telling Zhou Yi that he knew where the Tarbosaurus was. Xiao San was injured. Zhou Yi simply rode Xiao He. Let it lead you to the Tarbosaurus. Xiao He shuttled through the mountains and forests, swimming very fast. The 20-meter-long body is not bulky at all. Riding on Xiao He, Zhou Yi felt like he was riding a wild beast, which was very exciting. Zhou Yi remembered that the largest size of Titanoboa was much more than 20 meters. He still remembered the Titanoboa he saw in the canyon, its body coiled up 6 stories high. I don't know how many meters long it is, but standing in front of it, I look like a tiny person. Cece. Xiao He kept sticking out his tongue to identify the direction, and his body swam quickly. Soon, the Tarbosaurus was discovered beside a shallow stream. At this time, Tarbosaurus was lying on the ground sleeping, its belly rising and falling. I guess I was full already, so I came here and drank some water before lying down and falling asleep. Zhou Yi got off Xiao He's back and patted its body covered with snake scales. Thank you, Xiao He. Xiao He didn't say anything, and got entangled in the big tree on the side again. Looking at the sleeping Tarbosaurus, Zhou Yi did not disturb it. But soon another question came to mind: how to get this Tarbosaurus back? His beast-taming summon can only summon tamed beasts. There is no way to send them back to where they came from. This problem is very troublesome. Tarbosaurus is the king of the desert and was born to hunt in the desert. Wouldn't it be inappropriate to put it on an island full of virgin forest? Tarbosaurus is so big that even if you want to use a third-level base to send it to the other side, it won't work. The hatch will be burst by it. Zhou Yi thought about it and decided to throw it here first. We can only take one step and see one step at a time. Looking at this familiar stream, Zhou Yi suddenly thought, isn't there a giant crocodile in the upper reaches of the river? I am also a level 4 beast taming master now, so I must have tamed this crocodile by the way. When I think of this, Zhou Yi asked Xiao He to take him along the river bank. Soon Zhou Yi discovered the giant crocodile on a river bank upstream. This Deinosuchus is 10 meters long and is resting lazily on the river bank. There are no natural enemies nearby, and it is the overlord in this river, and its life is very comfortable. Even if Zhou Yi was close, he could still feel the pressure brought by its huge size. It's a monster that feeds on dinosaurs. Not to mention anything else, the 10 tons of bite force can easily crush rocks. Taming such a giant crocodile is no less intimidating than a Tarbosaurus. Since he decided to tame it, Zhou Yi would definitely not choose to confront it head-on. That's what only fools do. Dealing with it is also very simple, just take some fragrant and delicious food every day. Just throw it on the river bank to lure it to eat, and sprinkle the food with loyalty potion. This giant crocodile probably won't refuse the temptation of delicious food. Just do it. Zhou Yi got off Xiao He's back. He quickly climbed to the trunk of a big tree and took out a large piece of meat from his backpack. Then drizzle with loyalty elixir. Several piles of meat were thrown around the territory of Deinosuchus. Zhou Yi doesn't have to worry about the meat being taken away by other predators. This is the territory of Deinosuchus, and no one dares to come close. Next, just feed it regularly every day and slowly wait for its loyalty to increase. Zhou Yi thought happily. Cece. Xiao He's body trembled uneasily as he conveyed the news to Zhou Yi. Xiao He. Ever since Xiao He entered the virgin forest, Zhou Yi felt that something was wrong with it. Every scale on the body is trembling. His emotions were filled with fear and a slight sense of excitement. Just now Xiao He revealed a message to Zhou Yi. It is not yet a qualified leader of the Titanoboa group. There are only a few hundred Titanoboa that obey its commands. If you want to become the real Titanoboa king and command the entire clan, it had to defeat the old Titanoboa. This is the tradition of the Titanoboa group. A group can only have one king. Don't accept the second king. In fact, many social animals have this habit. For example, a group of dire wolves has only one wolf king. This intelligent group knows how to cooperate, and all dire wolves obey the orders of the wolf king. Even if the wolf king tells them to die, they will die. Because they understand that everything the wolf king does is for the continuation of the group. The same goes for Titanoboa. Therefore, there will definitely be a life and death battle between the two kings, the old and the new. The winner continues to command the group, while the loser has only one fate, death. This is Xiao He's fate. After it has finished shedding its skin, it should start a battle for the throne with the old titan. Xiao He waited until Zhou Yi came back. Now it is ready to meet its fate. Xiao He. Zhou Yi hugged Xiao He's waist. Now its waist is thicker than a water tank, and Zhou Yi can't hold it in his arms. Xiao He, who was about to turn around and leave, turned to look at him. Zhou Yi asked it, "Are you sure of winning?" Xiao He nodded his big, black head. Cece. It was telling Zhou Yi that it was full of confidence. Zhou Yi looked at Xiao He's innocent eyes and shook his head. No, you don't have the confidence to win it. You are very scared now. Don't forget, Zhou Yi is an animal trainer. It is not difficult for an animal tamer to master the psychology of taming his own animals. Xiao He looks crazy on the outside, but in fact he is very scared and panicked inside. I have no confidence at all. It's the same mentality as a poor student when facing an exam. Feeling weak. When Xiao He was still a baby, Zhou Yi picked it up. Zhou Yi grew up watching it. Xiao He is timid by nature, except for killing Xiaoli and ushering in a glorious moment. He doesn't understand hunting techniques at all. Although Wang Zhouyi, the old Titan python, had never seen it before, he knew without guessing that he must have gone through a life and death struggle to reach the top of the entire clan. Xiao He is here now, isn't he delivering food? Xiao He's psychology was exposed by Zhou Yi, and he shrank his head back in embarrassment. It can't help it, it doesn't want to go, but it must go. This is passed down from generation to generation in the blood. Of course Zhou Yi knew it was going, but not now. Zhou Yi patted Xiao He's body and said, "I know this matter is important to you, so just hold it off for now. When can you go with my permission? Come back to base with me now." Zhou Yi wants to take Xiao He back for some special training in hell. He would not stupidly watch Xiao He die. Xiao He must be trained to be an extremely ferocious python that can scare people half to death with just one glance, like crossing a mountain. A ferocious python. Only Zhou Yi would let it go. Cece. The master gave an order, and Xiao He dared not disobey. Carrying Zhou Yi back through the original forest. Zhou Yi took Xiao He back to the base first. Zhou Yi now parked his base in the Chigu tribe's village. After returning to the village, Zhou Yi saw Xiaosun still lying on the ground. 2 members of the Chigu tribe are helping it heal its wounds. Several other primitive people brought a lot of fern leaves for the Ankylosaurus to eat. Ankylosaurus has a bigger appetite than Xiao He. I can usually eat more than 300 kilograms of food in one meal. But the plants on the island are much more prosperous than those in the desert. In an oxygen-rich state, plants grow very quickly. Ankylosaurus can't finish it no matter how much he eats it. Firoraptor is sleeping on the ground. Zhou Yi sprinkled a bottle of strength potion, agility potion, and cell division potion into the water tank in the village. Let Xiao He and the others drink. It was getting late, and after finishing these things, Zhou Yi was ready to go back and rest. Special training for Xiao He starts tomorrow. As soon as Zhou Yi returned to the base, he saw that Xiao Yu had already cooked a whole table of dishes in an obedient manner. Xiao Yu stood aside obediently and whispered, "Brother Zhou, thank you for your hard work. Let's have dinner quickly." After saying that, Xiao Yu's face turned red. It seems a little unaccustomed to this. Zhou Yi saw that Xiao Yu's clothes obviously didn't fit him well. My clothes are a bit fat and big on Xiao Yu, but they have a special loose feeling. Xiao Yu wears something unique. Looking at the shy and cute Xiao Yu, someone is cooking dinner for me after a tiring day. Zhou Yi felt that the decision to leave Xiao Yu behind was really wise. Haha, Xiao Yu, sit down too and let's eat together. Zhou Yi greeted with a smile. Xiao Yu's cooking skills have always been excellent. Using the seasonings at Zhou Yi's house, I picked some vegetables from the ground and fried a few bowls of meat and vegetable dishes. Plus a pot of seaweed and egg soup and a bowl of fragrant rice. And the meat of beast steamed from the pot. Pieces of beast meat were steamed until they were soft and tender. The taste is not good at all. When dipped in green garlic soy sauce, the taste becomes delicious. Zhou Yi has been hungry for a long time. Immediately lie down on the table and start feasting. In addition, the food is delicious and I feel full quickly. Xiao Yu was also savoring it carefully. It's almost time to eat. Zhou Yi called Xiao Yu aside and said to Xiao Yu, "Xiao Yu, please stay here from now on. There are too many things inside and outside the base. I can't handle it all by myself. You usually help take care of it." "Well, my brother has already told me." Xiao Yu nodded and responded softly. Seeing that Xiao Yu agreed, Zhou Yi felt relieved. "If you have any requirements, just ask me and I will satisfy you if you can." Zhou Yi said, "Brother Zhou, can you bring me my clothes first?" Xiao Yu said that she had no clothes to wear now and could only wear Zhou Yi's clothes. Zhou Yi thought the same thing. "Okay, I'll ask your brother to trade over later." Xiao Yu went to wash the dishes first and was very sensible and obedient. As soon as Zheng Pengfei arrived at home, Zhou Yi asked him to deliver Xiao Yu's clothes. Looking at the clothes, small skirts, and small suspenders that are full of girly body fragrance on the trading platform. Some are still underwear, Zhou Yi couldn't help but blush. Xiao Yu has quite a lot of clothes. After Zhou Yi handed all the clothes to Xiao Yu, he arranged a separate room for her to live in. Xiao Yu hugged the clothes and went back to the house to change first. Xiao Yu, who had changed her clothes, walked out again. Now the temperature on the island has risen and is close to 20 degrees Celsius. Xiao Yu also wore a small skirt. A pair of straight legs were exposed, tender and white. "Brother Zhou, does it look good?" Xiao Yu spun around in a circle, her skirt flying like a fairy. Then it seemed that the question was too straightforward, and his face suddenly turned red again. Zhou Yi scratched his head and said something nice. He had almost no experience with girls before. After hearing Zhou Yi's compliment, Xiao Yu ran away with a red face. Zhou Yi thought that since he wanted Xiao Yu to manage everything in the base, simply leave the planting area to Xiao Yu to take care of it. Judging from Xiao Yu's proficiency in doing housework, Xiao Yu should be quite good at taking care of it. Zhou Yi still has several tons of excellent soil in his backpack. However, it would not be convenient if we continue to plant in the base. Anyway, Zhou Yi already has a plan to develop the island into his own base camp. Just plant it outside. Zhou Yi plans to take Xiaoyu to choose a good place tomorrow and plant all the excellent soil. Wah wah. There was a sound of water coming from the shower room, interrupting Zhou Yi's thinking. Xiaoyu opened the door of the shower room and said to Zhou Yi, "Brother Zhou, you've had a hard day, come in and wash up." Xiaoyu has already put the water in the bathroom, waiting for Zhou Yi to come in. Good. Zhou Yi agreed. Xiaoyu, I'm coming in. Brother Zhou, do you have enough water? Not much, put some more. Then I'll put some more water in. How do you feel now? I feel comfortable. Are you feeling comfortable, Brother Zhou? Okay, Brother Zhou, you wash up first, I'm going out. Zhou Yi took a nice bath, wiped his whole body comfortably, put on the pajamas that Xiaoyu had prepared for him and walked out of the bathroom. It was getting late, and Zhou Yi was about to let Xiaoyu go back to the room to rest. After all, Xiaoyu also experienced a day of exhaustion and almost died accidentally, so she must be tired too. Xiaoyu, go and rest early. Well, good night, Brother Zhou. Xiaoyu sweetly greeted Zhou Yi and went back to rest. Close the door. Xiaoyu was lying in bed, coming to a strange environment for the first time. She was a little nervous and a little scared, but Brother Zhou was very easy to get along with, which made her feel at ease. When she thinks of the advice her brother gave her and the messy thoughts he instilled in her. Really, I'm only 16 years old. My brother is really bad. Xiaoyu covered her face with the quilt and blushed with embarrassment. However, Brother Zhou is her savior, and his idea is right, and it is also for her own good. No matter, let's try it tomorrow anyway. Xiaoyu put all her thoughts behind and rested first. Early the next morning, Zhou Yi received a message from Zheng Pengfei. Zhou Yi wants to form a survival alliance. Zheng Pengfei is very concerned about this matter. Zhou Yi once said that forming the only force on the island would, from now on, manage the island as your own base camp. Since we want to form a force, it is important to select members. Zhou Yi's request is to rather lack than to overdo it. So Zheng Pengfei first wrote down the recruitment conditions. Let Zhou Yi see if it suits him. After Zhou Yi took a look at the recruitment conditions submitted by Zheng Pengfei, I revised it carefully again. When I think it's almost done, I should be able to send it. Ask Zheng Pengfei to send it to the regional channel. Zheng Pengfei sent a paragraph modified by Zhou Yi to the regional channel. The Survival Alliance is recruiting people. Requirement 1. Members who join the Survival Alliance are responsible for their own profits and losses. The alliance is not responsible for everyone's eating, drinking and littering. 2. When you enter the Survival Alliance and encounter a natural disaster, every member must work together to resist. Those who become lazy will be abandoned by this alliance. 3. Follow the organization's orders. If an external force invades, every member must work together to resist external forces. 4. This alliance only protects members who join the Survival Alliance, and does not protect other members outside the alliance. What Zhou Yi said is very clear. Prevent everyone from coming in to eat and wait to die. Everyone works hard to survive. In addition, in the event of natural disasters or invasion by external forces, Zhou Yi only protects those who join the Survival Alliance, and does not protect anyone else. Let them fend for themselves. As soon as the news about the Survival League was released, the regional channels immediately exploded. It caused a heated discussion among everyone. There are currently only 3,000 people left in the entire regional channel. Because everyone knows that the Fire Alliance and the Hope Alliance have been disbanded, and now there is only one organization left in the entire region, the Survival Alliance. The joining conditions given by Zhou Yi are also very harsh, and you must be responsible for your own profits and losses. In the past, after joining the Fire Alliance and the Hope Alliance, they would provide some basic supplies to meet daily needs. The Survival League simply gave me nothing. To put it simply, you have to listen to the organization when you enter, and the organization will not give you anything to use. But the advantage is that in the event of natural disasters or invasion by external forces, the organization will protect its internal members. It is completely different from the previous Fire Alliance and Hope Alliance. In the past, people begged you to join. Now if you want to join, you can join, if you don't join, you will be kicked out. For a time, everyone was discussing intensely in the channel. People who have no foundation at all cannot join, because they have to be responsible for their own food, drink, and diarrhea. Joey put forward these conditions in order to clear out all those trash fish. He is too lazy to bring low-end players up with him. Joey pasted and copied the message and posted it 3 times in the group for everyone to see. Then at everyone, and it was made clear, no other forces are allowed to appear on the island in the future. There is only one force, the Survival Alliance, and its appearance is regarded as a declaration of war. Don't play nonsense with them, what you want is to be direct and decisive. A considerable number of people refused to join the Survival League, but a small number of people actively asked to join. This small group of people can satisfy their current life and have already solved the problem of food and clothing. They have a longer-term view of the problem. Natural disasters and invasion by external forces are the reasons why they can continue to live. Rather than having nothing to eat or drink every day. Once people stay in a comfortable environment for a long time, they will easily eat and wait to die. On the contrary, if everyone has a sense of crisis, they can live longer. Therefore, Joey approved all those who took the initiative to join the Survival League. At least they have met Joey's initial requirements and their mentality has changed. There are also voices of opposition, and some people are shouting loudly on the regional channel. It is said that Joey is a dictator. He should at least give him some meat every day. Otherwise, why should everyone listen to your orders? Joey ignored these words. I'm not begging you to join. If you don't join, you'll be thrown out. What kind of mentality is there to make irresponsible remarks? In the end, Joey received a total of 78 applications to join. There were more than 3,000 people, but only 78 people joined. Including the first dozen people, the total was close to 100 people. Joey felt that enough was enough. The gap between these people who joined the Survival League and those who have not joined will become wider and wider in the future. Those who don't join will definitely regret it. Joey had already given them the opportunity. If he didn't seize it, he couldn't blame others. Joey also received a private message. Hello, I want to join the Survival League, but my base was destroyed by a group of terror birds. I have no food. Can you give me food for 10 days? Only 10 days time. I will definitely catch up with everyone. The person who sent the private message was named Lu Han. A photo was also attached, which shows how his home was destroyed by the terror birds. The ventilation shaft was broken by the terror birds, the food in the cupboard was eaten away, and broken furniture was everywhere. Joey feels that this person should have some foundation, at least he has this mentality. This mentality is worth giving her a chance. So he was given a few pieces of fine-grade snake meat and some water in exchange. This food is enough for 10 days. Thank you, I'm starving. I will repay you in the future. Lu Han said gratefully. Joey laughed it off and didn't take his words of gratitude to heart, and smoothly pulled Lu Han into the Survival League. Joey then received another private message. It was from his old acquaintance Zhao Qingkong. Zhao Qingkong, hey, are you trying to force me into the palace? Shocked. Joey, no, everything is voluntary. I made it clear. Zhao Qingkong, you are doing this voluntarily. If you don't join, you will be considered a hostile force. I don't want to be your enemy. I just want to live a comfortable life behind closed doors, helpless. Joey, hey, insidious. Do you want to join? Zhao Qingkong, well, I'll think about it. Can I not join first? Joey, okay, our Survival Alliance will not protect the original players on the island. Zhao Qingkong, you promised to protect me once before. Don't forget to be angry. Joey, I haven't forgotten, just once. If you have any trouble, I can help you solve it. Zhao Qingkong always feels that he is at a loss. I feel like I've suffered a big loss. There is an invasion by external forces, and she also hopes to be protected by the Survival Alliance. But to join, you have to listen to Joey, she doesn't want to listen to others. How comfortable it is to be alone. Zhao Qingkong thought for a while and said, I have a piece of news that I can reveal to you. How about I exchange the news for the protection of your Survival Alliance? Joey, then I want to see what the news is. It must be valuable news to Joey, not ordinary news. Zhao Qingkong. Don't worry. This news must be very important to you, and you will want to know it. Zhou Yi, tell me. Zhao Qingkong. I have news about the third natural disaster here. Do you want to know? Mysterious. This news really whetted Zhou Yi's appetite. Zhou Yi, think. Zhao Qingkong. Then I said you must agree to my conditions. This news is indeed of sufficient value. It is very important to know about natural disasters in advance. If you know in advance, you can prevent it in advance. If you don't know anything about a natural disaster, you will definitely suffer a big loss. The Python disaster illustrates how important it is to know about natural disasters in advance. Zhou Yi has always been curious, how does she know the news in advance every time? Judging from Zhao Qingkong's appearance, she seems to be confident about the third natural disaster. Could it be that she already has a way to deal with it? Zhou Yi decided to torture Zhao Qingkong this time. Zhou Yi, okay, you can say it. Zhao Qingkong. The third natural disaster is very unfortunate for R851 area. It was a volcanic eruption and magma flooding the island. Zhou Yi was shocked. He had indeed imagined this situation, but he didn't expect it to actually come. There is indeed an active volcano on the island. When he was born and lived in a cave, he could often feel the geothermal activity below. Zhou Yi, what time is it specifically? Zhao Qingkong. I can't say this. According to the cycle, it may be very soon. You must prepare early. Zhou Yi, aren't you afraid? Zhao Qingkong. You are here to protect me, hee hee. Zhou Yi asked again, how did you know? Zhao Qingkong. Sorry, I have no right to disclose this. Zhou Yi, I'm sorry, then you can't be protected by the Survival Alliance. Zhao Qingkong. Angry, angry, angry. Zhou Yi rolls eyes. Zhao Qingkong. This is my personal privacy, why do you ask? Zhou Yi. Then I have to ensure that the natural disaster news you disclosed is accurate, so I need to verify the authenticity from you. Zhao Qingkong. Okay, then I'll tell you, but you have to keep it a secret for me. Zhou Yi. Well, I keep my word, and I will keep it secret for you. Photo uploaded by Zhao Qingkong career column. Zhao Qingkong uploaded a photo with an extra occupation column than others. Astrology. Zhao Qingkong is an astrologer. Zhou Yi was shocked. Zhao Qingkong. Yes, I am an astrologer, so I can predict every natural disaster. Rolling eyes. Zhou Yi thought it was no wonder. No wonder she always knew about natural disasters in advance. Since Zhao Qingkong is an astrologer, Zhou Yi will definitely give priority to protecting her. The reason is simple. There is an astrologer on the island, who can get news of natural disasters in advance every time. Of great significance. Zhou Yi. Okay, you can now be protected by the Survival Alliance. Zhao Qingkong. Smile. Zhou Yi asked one more question. Do you really not know the exact time of the third natural disaster? Zhao Qingkong. There is no way. I am only a level 2 astrologer, so my predictions are not that accurate. When I reach level 3, I may be able to predict accurately. Zhou Yi. Then how do you know that magma will flood the entire island? Zhao Qingkong. This is what I saw with the eyes of God. In the near future, a volcano will erupt, magma will engulf the earth like a torrent, magma will rain down, and the island will become a ruin. I'm not being alarmist, it's going to happen. Zhao Qingkong said so, of course Zhou Yi believed it. She had successfully predicted a Python disaster last time. The most important thing is that we don't know the exact time of the eruption. Since you don't know the time, take precautions as early as possible. In short, the sooner this happens, the better. Zhou Yi instantly felt that time was running out. The island is his rear area, and Zhou Yi doesn't want to see him being wiped out by natural disasters just after he starts his business. Therefore, in order to respond to natural disasters as soon as possible, he must act now. Brother Zhou, breakfast is ready. As soon as Zhou Yi was about to get up, Xiao Yu's crisp voice came from outside the door. Zhou Yi opened the door and saw a sumptuous breakfast on the dining table. There is clean spring water, a meat pie, 2 lettuce leaves, and 2 eggs. Xiao Yu wore an apron around her waist and sat obediently aside, holding a meat pie in her hand and chewing on it. It actually gave Zhou Yi a warm feeling. Sure enough, it's different when there is someone in the family. Xiao Yu wearing an apron is a little less cute and looks a little more gentle. Seeing the gentle and lovely Xiao Yu preparing breakfast early in the morning will make you feel better throughout the day. Zhou Yi hurriedly chatted with each other. He had something to do today and had to go out early. Xiao Yu also saw that brother Zhou seemed to be very busy today and seemed to have something on his mind, so he didn't ask any more questions. After finishing breakfast, Zhou Yi said, "Breakfast is great." Then he touched Xiao Yu's hair. This time Zhou Yi took the initiative to touch Xiao Yu for the first time. Zhou Yi didn't know what was going on, he just wanted to reach out and touch it, so he did it. Xiao Yu's hair is soft and smooth. Xiao Yu was stunned for a moment, then lowered his head, his face was a little red, and said something. "Thanks." Zhou Yi only touched it once and then withdrew his hand, then took Xiao Yu out with him. Today he will go out to select a suitable area for planting, sprinkle the excellent soil on it, and let the light rain take care of it in the future. As soon as Zhou Yi went out, he saw that Xiaosun was already alive and kicking, and the scars on her body were beginning to scar. The body's ability to recover and endure exercise is astonishing. After only one night, the injury was almost healed, which may be related to the fact that it has been taking the medicine prepared by Zhou Yi for a long time. When the mistress saw him, she jumped up and put her arms into Zhou Yi's arms. Zhou Yi immediately stepped out of the way. Xiao San's body length was close to 5 meters and weighed about 3 tons. It's not something most people can bear if it hits it. The mistress was a little confused, turned half a circle on the spot, and humped him with her big head. Zhou Yi called Xiao He over. Looking at mistress like this, today is another day of excessive energy. Zhou Yi assigned a task to Xiaosun. Give me a plate of Xiao He vigorously today. Whoever knocks someone over will be rewarded with a chicken drumstick. Xiao He was a little reluctant when he saw the strong and majestic body of the Triceratops. This won't work at all. A 20-meter-long titanoboa gave Xiaosun a headache when he saw it, which shows how difficult it is for Xiaosun to deal with it. Zhou Yi patted Xiao He's big head and asked it, "Do you still want to win against the old titan?" The little black head nodded. "It wants so much. If you want, just give me a try on Xiao San. Only if you beat her can you have a chance to beat that old titan." Zhou Yi said. This is the special hell training he specially arranged for Xiao He. Xiao He's eyes, which were gentle just now, suddenly became fierce. He curled up and threw himself fiercely at the mistress. Xiaosun was very excited and jumped up to play with Xiao He. 2 behemoths were fighting and biting each other in the village. The people in the village were so frightened that they quickly retreated to avoid being affected. The mistress has a mission, and the ankylosaurus has thorns on its back and cannot be ridden. Zhou Yi could only capture the Phyroraptor as a means of transportation. Roar! When Zhou Yi sat on the back of the Phyroraptor made a dissatisfied protest. Phyroraptor was very unhappy. It was relatively slender. It's more difficult to run with Zhou Yi on your back. Come on, Xiao Yu, come up too. Don't be afraid, this guy won't bite anyone, I will protect you. With Zhou Yi's encouragement and Zhou Yi's help, Xiao Yu rode on the back of the Phyroraptor. Why did the hostess get on the bus too? The weight of 2 adults made Phyroraptor feel even more burdened. I'll reward you with a chicken drumstick tonight, Zhou Yi said lazily. As soon as the Phyroraptor heard that there was something to eat, he immediately became motivated. He straightened his body upward and stepped forward steadily. As long as there is something to eat, it can be tempted. As soon as the Phyroraptor started running, Xiao Yu's body almost fell backwards under the inertia. She was so frightened that she quickly hugged brother Zhou's waist and refused to let go at all. Zhou Yi felt that his back was pressed tightly by 2 dumplings. Xiao Yu entangled him from behind like an octopus. Zhou Yi felt that Xiao Yu was exerting too much force and her whole body was lying on his back. Zhou Yi thought Xiao Yu was scared, so he naturally had no objection and even warned, "Xiao Yu, hold on tight." Xiao Yu responded. Zhou Yikai was relieved. Riding the Phyroraptor, Zhou Yi circled around the Chigu tribe's village. The planting area should not be placed too far away. It's best to be near here. Zhou Yi has planned to arrange for several Survival League members to patrol around the village all day long, responsible for protecting the safety of the village and farm. It's far away, and it's not convenient for Xiao Yu to go back and forth every day. Zhou Yi quickly picked a piece of land. The terrain of this land is very flat, backed by mountains, with plenty of sunshine and good ventilation. It's definitely good to use it as a planting area to grow some fruits and vegetables. Excellent grade soil has strong cultivation ability and matures quickly. A batch of fruits can be produced in a few days. If you can't finish it, you can take it directly to the World Channel to sell it. This fresh melon and fruit is definitely a hot commodity, and many people must be willing to pay high prices. After Zhou Yi selected the venue, together with Xiao Yu, we filled in several tons of excellent grade soil. It took almost an entire acre of land to be filled in. Even though it's only 1 acre, the seeds of excellent soil mature quickly. It takes about a few days to ripen, so it's absolutely no problem to take it to the market and supply it in large quantities. Zhou Yi doesn't know much about growing fruits and vegetables. He still has some vegetable seeds in his hand. Wheat seeds and berry tree seeds. He remembered that the formula of loyalty potion contained an exquisite tree fruit. I got it from Chen Yi. Zhou Yi only remembered that the value of fine-grade fruit should be relatively high. So he directly opened the chat window and asked Chen Yi, "Do you have any fine-grade tree fruit seeds there?" Chen Yi, "Yes, what's wrong, brother Zhou?" Zhou Yi, "Give me some, I plan to plant some fruit trees." Chen Yi, "Okay, I have plenty here, you can plant more, I want to eat too." Chen Yi gave Zhou Yi a lot of high-quality fruit seeds from the trading window. Zhou Yi said to Xiao Yu, "You can help me plant some of these high-quality fruits. For others, you can plant some fruits that you like to eat, or those that are popular in the market." Xiao Yu learned how to cook at a very young age. Having such a large farm is just enough for her to do her best. Xiao Yu said confidently, "Brother Zhou, leave it to me, I will take care of this farm." Xiao Yu will stay here temporarily and start sowing seeds. Zhou Yi directly contacted 2 members who had joined the Survival League and asked them to report near his coordinates. One of them is Lu Han. Zhou Yi then purchased a fence-making scroll from the World Channel. The purpose is to prevent some herbivorous beasts or other large beasts from rushing in and destroying the farm. The fence-making scroll Zhou Yi bought was a sophisticated item. He used 5 energy stones before the seller agreed to the transaction. All fences are iron fences. Once buried in the ground, they are strong enough. Ordinary ferocious beasts cannot rush in. Zhou Yi then made a large number of iron fences according to the materials required on the scroll, which were enough to surround the farm. After Zhou Yi finished doing this, 2 members of the Survival League also arrived. A man and a woman, both young. To Zhou Yi's expectation, Lu Han was actually a woman. She looks older than him, tall, with straight long hair. Completely different types from the gentle and lovely Xiao Yu. Alliance leader. Lu Han spoke as soon as he saw Zhou Yi, his tone full of respect. After all, Zhou Yigang gave her 10 days of food. Leader. When Zhou Yi first heard this title, his expression felt a little strange. When he reacted, it seemed that he was indeed the leader of the alliance, the leader of the Survival Alliance. Zhou Yi said, "Change the title, just call me by my name." Zhou Yi directly arranged the task. Let them drive the iron fence into the ground and circle it around the farm. Then tell them that their recent task is to protect Xiao Yu and the safety of the farm. I usually help Xiao Yu take care of the farm. Fertilizing, watering, weeding, etc. These are the tasks of these 2 people at this stage. Zhou Yi said to Lu Han and another person, "As a reward, each of you can pick and take away 30 kilograms of fruits produced by the farm each time. 30 pounds of fruit is a lot, enough for 1 person to eat for a week. They can sell the leftovers." Zhou Yi said that they are responsible for their own profits and losses, but it is impossible to just assign them to work without giving them benefits. If they join the Survival League and find out that they are just there to do work, these people won't be able to work for long and will probably quit immediately. Everyone wants to make progress, as long as they follow their lead. Zhou Yi will not let them down. Yes, brother Zhou. When they heard that there were 30 kilograms of fruit available, Lu Han and the other person's eyes lit up. Who wouldn't want to do such a good thing if you can get something from work? It's 10,000 times better than eating at home and waiting to die, or going to the wild to fight to the death with wild beasts. Joining the Survival League is indeed the right choice. Zhou Yi then said to Xiao Yu that the 2 of them would listen to Xiao Yu's command for the time being. After all, Xiao Yu lives with Zhou Yi every day, so the relationship is closer. So give Xiao Yu more privileges. Thank you, Brother Zhou. Xiao Yu Ruru said thank you. Then Zhou Yi rode the Firoraptor and ran directly to the coast. The fishing ground I left on the coast before was also an industry. Farm, fishery, these can bring you stable income. It must not be left to waste. Since you want to run the entire island, you naturally need to develop more industries so that you always have supplies that you can exchange with others. After Zhou Yi rushed to the coast, I found that the fishing ground I left behind before leaving was still there. What pleased Zhou Yi was that the sea scorpion king on the coast that he had tamed before was still guarding the fishing ground loyally. Seeing Zhou Yi coming, he raised 2 big iron oars high and danced back and forth excitedly. It seemed to welcome him. Zhou Yi jumped off the back of the Firoraptor and patted its pair of large iron claws to encourage him. Well done, little scorpion. Jia Jia Jia. The sea scorpion made a sound of unknown meaning from its mouth. Zhou Yi could feel that it was in a happy mood. This sea scorpion king had made great achievements before. Li Yan and the people from the Fire Alliance almost touched his base, but several were bitten to death by the sea scorpion. Because Zhou Yi had not come to take care of him for more than 10 days, a big hole broke in the fishing net that Zhou Yi had scattered before. It looked like it had been torn apart by some kind of sea beast. There are many dangers in the ocean. Zhou Yi directly found 10 members of the Survival League this time. Let them come to the shore and assemble. Zhou Yi plans to hand over this fishing ground to 10 Survival League members to help him take care of it. Zhou Yi asked these 10 people to come here every morning and evening. At least one person must be here to look after the fishery all day long every day. Prevent fishing grounds from being attacked by large marine animals. Each person can take away 20 kilograms of catch every day. 20 pounds is the weight of a fish. When Zhou Yi was doing it by himself before, he could produce several tons of sea goods a day. The total weight for 10 people is only 200 pounds, which is not a big deal. If there are a lot of catches every day, Zhou Yi will also give them more catches. Zhou Yi also designated a captain among these 10 people. The captain can take away 30 kilograms more catch every day. But once something goes wrong in the fishing ground, it is the captain's responsibility. Being a captain brings a lot of benefits, but you also have to worry more about it. After making arrangements for the fishery, Zhou Yi rode the Firoraptor and continued running 7 or 8 kilometers away, heading straight for the crater on the island. He wanted to carefully investigate the status of this active volcano. Zhou Yi hasn't gotten close to the crater yet. I felt a strong wave of heat coming towards my face. The surrounding air is filled with the sour smell of sulfur. There were faint rumbling sounds from the ground beneath his feet. It seems like there is magma flowing just beneath the surface. Zhou Yi heard the natural disaster scene described by Zhao Qingkong. In the near future, a volcano will erupt, magma will engulf the earth like a torrent, magma rain will fall violently, and the island will become a ruin. If this scene really happens, then all the forces Zhou Yi has established now will be in vain. In the face of this natural disaster, the entire island ceased to exist. Therefore, Zhou Yi must try his best to prevent this natural disaster. Firoraptor was already covered in sweat. Sweat fell on the ground drop by drop. The soles of my feet were so soft that I couldn't use any strength, and it looked like I was about to lose my support. Zhou Yi also got wet and fed the Firoraptor a piece of fine-grade meat. As a reward for its hard work, the Firoraptor took a bite of the meat, and Zhou Yi fed it a large bottle of water. Firoraptor immediately regained its energy and ran all the way to the top of the volcano. The closer you get to the crater, the more you can hear the muffled thunder-like sound coming from below. There was a rumble, and it seemed like thousands of horses were galloping beneath my feet. The momentum was astonishing. The more Zhou Yi listened, the more frightened he became. From the looks of it, it's probably not far from an eruption. Zhou Yi had read in a book before that when a volcano begins to erupt, thick smoke will first appear, spewing out large amounts of volcanic ash. Although the movement of this volcano is alarming, there is still no smoke coming out of the crater. Zhou Yi felt that he could judge when the volcano would erupt based on this. Zhou Yi rode the Firoraptor and finally stood near the crater. The entire crater is about the size of a football field. Zhou Yi stood on the edge of the crater and looked down. All I could see was darkness and nothing could be seen clearly. There is no scene of magma flowing. Zhou speculated that the magma may be flowing under the rocks on the surface and has not yet penetrated the thin rock zone. Once magma erupts, it may only take a moment to penetrate the rock zone. Zhou first took a photo from the crater down. Record the state of the volcano at this time. Zhou turned around and planned to organize a team of people to check the status of the volcano every day. Then Zhou began to think of ways to stop the magma. The scary thing about volcanic eruptions is ash and magma. Volcanic ash pollutes the air. Magma destroys the surface. According to Zhao Qingkong's prediction, the eruption was large enough to flood the island. Zhou thought about it and found the only primitive way to resist the magma was to arrange a stone wall around the crater. Zhou searched a lot of information. I learned from others that the temperature of magma is about 1300 degrees, and the only stones that can resist magma from being burned through are high-grade stones. Zhou's plan is to pile high-quality stones into a solid wall. Build a circle around the volcano to prevent magma from rushing downwards from the crater. There are also people selling this kind of stuff on the World Channel. Premium-grade city wall production drawings required materials: fine-grade stone, fine-grade metal sheet, and fine wood. The main body of the construction is high-grade stone. It is not difficult to buy the production blueprints, but the difficulty is that building an entire city wall requires a large amount of fine-grade stones. If we were to build a high-quality city wall that could surround the entire crater, it would be enough to bring down all the financial resources Zhou now has. It is not enough for one person to do this. It's up to everyone to pool their efforts. Zhou is not stupid. If he wants to block the magma, the people on the island will benefit. Naturally, he can't pay for it alone. Since everyone is on the same island, everyone should contribute money to protect against natural disasters. If Zhou is asked to provide money and effort alone, then everyone should not even think about it. Even if the island is no longer needed, Zhou doesn't want others to take advantage of it. Zhou sent the photo of the crater he just took directly to the regional channel. As soon as Zhou Yigang posted the photo, someone immediately started discussing it on the regional channel. What is this? It looks dark. This is the volcano on our island. Didn't you see the crater on the side? The volcano on the island is becoming more and more unstable. Alas, it may erupt one day. Some people have had a premonition of something in advance. Zhou, the volcano on the island is about to erupt, and the entire island will not be spared. In order to stop the volcanic magma, everyone will hand in X100 high-quality stones, and our survival alliance will build a city wall to stop the magma from washing the island. After Zhou posted this, he hit everyone. Did I tell you right? The volcano is really going to erupt. Zhou, is your news reliable? You're not trying to trick us into handing over something, are you? I can testify that it should be true. My home is right on the edge of the volcano, and it is getting hotter day by day. I feel that the volcano is not far from erupting. Have you forgotten? When the python disaster broke out on the island for the second time, Zhou discovered it in advance and reminded us. I'm willing to pay this money. I can still afford 100 fine-grade stones. Quote. In the regional channel, many people were speaking for Zhou. Because Zhou left a good impression on the people on the island during the previous python disaster, everyone was still willing to believe what he said. As soon as Zhou came up, he received high-quality stones from more than 300 people. 100 pieces of fine-grade stones are not a high requirement. Those who have been able to persevere from the beginning until now can basically afford it. But there are also quite a few selfish people who are unwilling to make friends. Pretend you didn't see it. Zhou sneered. He naturally has many ways to deal with these people. It's okay if you don't pay. The first thing the lava will flood will be your home. Others are waiting and watching to see if others will pay. Zhou gave everyone a time to fully consider. Everyone must pay it in within 3 days. It is about the safety of the entire island, and no one can stay out of it. The Survival Alliance will be responsible for monitoring the status of the volcano every day and posting the status of the volcano on the channel. After Zhou finished sending these words, he received stones from many people one after another. Zhou wrote down all the names of those who handed over the stones in his book. Then Zhou specially selected 30 Survival Alliance members and asked them to gather at the crater. They began to arrange for them to build a city wall near the crater. The city wall also requires manpower to build. Zhou Yi has now received stones submitted by more than 500 people, totaling more than 50,000 high-quality stones. Because you never know when the volcano will erupt, you must hurry up. Start building now. When Zhang Pengfei heard that Zhou Yi was going to build a city wall near the crater, he was the first to say that he would come over to help. Rejected by Zhou Yi, Zhang Pengfei has other arrangements. Building a city wall is not a technical task and does not require too many manpower. After waiting for about 20 minutes, all 30 members of the Survival League on the island arrived. As soon as these members arrived, they saw that a high stone mountain had been built around Zhou Yi. They are all high-quality stones handed over by players on the island. Zhou Yi first appointed a captain among the 30 people. One of them was an uncle who was about 40 years old. He looked more stable. It's him. Zhou Yi first shared the city wall production drawings with him. Let him take the manpower to start building a sophisticated city wall. The main material of the city wall is basically stone, with metal and wood accounting for only a very small amount, and the Survival League can easily afford it. Zhou Yi thought for a while. Because it is necessary to leave a distance near the crater for the magma rushing out to buffer. So it is best to start building the city wall 1 kilometer away from the crater. This can block all the magma within 1 kilometer near the crater and prevent the magma from continuing to rush downward. Zhou Yi didn't know if these 50,000 high-quality stones could support such a huge project. We can only take one step and see one step at a time. Zhou Yi also asked the captain to arrange for people to patrol near the crater every day. I visit it once every morning, noon and evening, and record the status of the volcano at any time. Once there is any abnormality, report it immediately. A team of 30 people was responsible for building the city wall. 10 people look after the fishery, 2 people look after the farm. There are more than 50 remaining members of the Survival League. Zhou Yi summoned the remaining people to the vicinity of the Chigu tribe. Let Zhang Pengfei come over too. The tasks of this group of people are the most dangerous and heaviest. These people were all organized into an island hunting team. Let Zhang Pengfei take the lead and be responsible for patrolling the entire island. The number of beasts on the island is regularly cleaned every day. Keep the number of beasts on the island within a controllable range. Similarly, each person can take away 10 kilograms of meat per day from the beasts killed by the island hunting team. The captain can carry an extra 20 pounds by himself. All the rest will be handed over to the alliance. This hunting team is also the most training one. Every day I have to fight with the wild beasts on the island. In addition to the giant python on the island, terror birds, dire wolves, saber-toothed tigers, short-faced bears, cave lions, andersensis, etc. There are still many of these ferocious carnivorous beasts. They need to be hunted regularly and bred in captivity to control their numbers. Zhou Yi even felt that these 50 people were a bit too few. If anyone is willing to join the Survival League in the future, arrange them all into a hunting team and let them fight with beasts all day long. The mission of this hunting team is not only responsible for hunting wild beasts, but also there is also the task of monitoring the entire island. At the same time, a group of people must be arranged to guard the center of the island, the safety of the Chigu tribe. Zhou Yi suggested that Zhang Pengfei could arrange people to rotate every day. A group of 10 people guard the village every day. Make sure nothing happens to the Hao Chigu tribe. Because the Chigu tribe has the most important resource on the island, energy stones. Nothing can go wrong. After a busy day, Zhou Yi returned to the base exhausted. Xiao Yu has prepared a table of sumptuous dishes. Brother Zhou, thank you for your hard work. Xiao Yu said sensibly, walked behind Zhou Yi and rubbed Zhou Yi's shoulders. A pair of small hands are soft and tender, with neither light nor heavy force. They massage back and forth on the shoulders to relax the tight muscles. Zhou Yi didn't want to fall into gentleness too early, but Xiao Yu's hands were so comfortable that he felt like all the fatigue of the day had been washed away. Just let Xiao Yu do whatever she wants. Brother Zhou, are you comfortable? Xiao Yu asked with a red face. Good. Zhou Yi said something against his will, but it was actually quite comfortable. After pinching for a while, Zhou Yi asked Xiao Yu to sit down and eat together. While Xiao Yu was eating, she reported what she had planted on the farm. Eggplant, lettuce, cabbage, winter melon seeds, broccoli, pea seedlings, apple trees, watermelon seeds, banana trees, durian, etc. She has grown almost all the vegetables and fruits on the market. Fruits and vegetables are scarce, especially vegetables, which are much more expensive than meat. In prehistoric times when ferocious beasts were everywhere, growing vegetables was very difficult. The supply exceeds the demand and the price is naturally high. If these vegetables grown in light rain mature in a few days, the one-time harvest from concentrated sales will definitely be considerable. Hearing what Xiao Yu said, Zhou Yi began to look forward to the farm's harvest in a few days. After finishing the meal, Xiao Yu ran to the bathroom, put some water in it, and asked Brother Zhou to take a comfortable bath. Xiao Yu wore a white dress today. Under the skirt, a pair of long white and straight legs appeared, which made Zhou Yi feel a little distracted. Zhou Yi looked at it for a while and quickly looked away. Xiao Yu is only 16 years old. What am I thinking? After Xiao Yu noticed Zhou Yi's gaze just now, his face suddenly turned red. He rubbed the skirt with both hands and pulled it down, then lifted it up again. His expression quickly returned to normal. He turned around and left from the bathroom door. After Zhou Yi took a shower, he was ready to go back to his room to rest. As soon as he opened the door, the scene in front of him shocked him. I saw Xiao Yu lying on his bed. Her blushing face was exposed under the covers, and she lowered her head slightly, not daring to look at him. Good guy. This doesn't quite fit. Zhou Yi hasn't spoken yet. Xiao Yu lifted up the quilt and walked out of bed. Xiao Yu was wearing neat pajamas, lowered her head and said with a blushing face, Brother Zhou, the quilt is covering you up, go to bed quickly. After saying that, Xiao Yu quickly left the room. Before Zhou Yi could react, was Xiao Yu really here to help him cover his bed? Zhou Yi climbed into his familiar big bed. The quilt is full of the girl's faint body fragrance. Lying in the quilt with the warmth of light rain, Zhou Yi felt that it would be difficult to sleep tonight. Xiao Yu was also lying on the bed, her face flushed. Just like that. Brother Zhou will probably like it, right? Xiao Yu was a little unsure. What if Brother Zhou hates it? Forget it, go to sleep. The next morning, Xiao Yu prepared a sumptuous breakfast as usual. Neither of them mentioned what happened last night, and they understood each other tacitly. Zhou Yi asked Xiao Yu to eat meat every meal. This was his mission. Xiao Yu knew that Brother Zhou was doing it for her own good, so she nodded in agreement. Eat a little meat at every meal, not too much, to stay in good shape. After Zhou Yi had breakfast, he hurried out. Before going out, Zhou Yi also gave Xiao Yu the task of feeding Xiao San and Xiao He. He has prepared the potion in advance, just pour it into the water and feed it to them. When Xiao San saw Xiao Yu and Zhou Yi often coming in and out, she thought it was the hostess coming. Xiao Yu patted its head, and Xiao San drank it without resistance. After Xiao Yu fed mistress, she still had to take care of the farm. The two members of the survival league that Brother Zhou arranged for her yesterday should be waiting for her at the farm by now. Zhou Yi first opened the animal training panel to check the status of Tarbosaurus and the Deinosuchus. I found that Tarbosaurus is now emotionally stable, and its loyalty has not only not dropped, but has also increased by 3 points. There is sufficient food on the island, the environment is comfortable, and there is no threat to its existence. The Tarbosaurus seems to be very comfortable. Deinosuchus adult stage loyalty 3, current status full, normal. The loyalty of Deinosuchus also appeared. It seems that it has eaten the food Zhou Yi threw to it. If we continue at this pace, taming Deinosuchus shouldn't be a problem. Zhou Yi smiled slightly. He had already told Zheng Pengfei that the hunting team should ignore the Tarbosaurus and the giant Deinosuchus in the river area. Today Zhou Yi will go to the virgin forest again and feed some meat to Deinosuchus by the river. Try to tame this giant crocodile one day soon. In addition to taming Deinosuchus, Zhou Yi also plans to tame a flying beast. Flying animal taming is also very important, as it can provide you with vision and remote monitoring, like having an extra pair of eyes in the sky. The most ideal aerial bird is the pterosaur. But pterosaurs rarely appear on the island. We can only do the next best thing for the time being and tame an Archaeopteryx first. In order to tame the Archaeopteryx, Zhou Yi once again set foot in the primeval forest. Zhou Yi rode a fire raptor into the primeval forest. He hasn't been here for a long time. Almost a month. Phyroraptor has just set foot in the primeval forest. The nose is twitching. The air here is full of delicious food. Zhou slapped it on the head. Remind it that it is not here to satisfy its appetite. If you can successfully catch an Archaeopteryx, Zhou could consider helping Pyroraptor catch a forest beast and give it a taste. Archaeopteryx is not uncommon in primeval forests. In the past, Zhou could often see it in the virgin forest. Zhou rode the Phyroraptor and ran towards the place where the primitive bird often hangs out. Looking forward to meeting one by chance. Cuckoo. Goo-goo. Zhou is very lucky. As soon as I arrived here, I heard the cry of Archaeopteryx. An Archaeopteryx landed on a giant rainforest tree about 50 meters away from him. Archaeopteryx has beautiful feathers. Its feathers are colorful and very beautiful. It has a pair of long legs with claws on its feet that can firmly grasp tree trunks. The neck is very long. Except for the head that looks like a bird, there is nothing about the body that looks like a bird. Body length is about 1 meter 2. Born in the Jurassic period, it is said to be the ancestor of all birds in the world. According to Prehistoric Creatures, Archaeopteryx is a scavenger. That is, meat eaters. Zhou looked at the Archaeopteryx standing high on the treetops. Prepare to be arrested directly by force. Command the Phyroraptor to jump forward. The Phyroraptor jumped up to about 3 meters high. Zhou used the back of the Phyroraptor to climb up the treetop. This series of movements startled the Archaeopteryx on the treetop. It immediately let out a high-pitched cry, spread its wings and was about to fly away. Of course Zhou couldn't give it a chance to take off. Frenzy Claw Strike. A series of claw shadows spread up, like a storm raging across the entire tree trunk. The tree trunk was immediately covered with deep claw marks. Gu. Archaeopteryx let out a startling cry. The body that took off fluttered and fell straight down. He quickly fell to the ground, and his feathers were scattered all over the ground. Zhou jumped down from the tree trunk, picked up the Archaeopteryx from the ground and checked its injuries. I found one of its legs was scratched. Cuckoo. Goo. Archaeopteryx struggled violently and flapped its wings wildly, trying to break away from Zhou hand. Zhou stuffed a piece of dried bacon into its mouth, and it immediately calmed down. Zhou sprinkled this piece of bacon with loyalty potion. Zhou took out a sterile bandage from his backpack and wrapped it around Archaeopteryx's injured leg a few times. Stop the bleeding from the wound first. After Archaeopteryx swallowed bacon, Zhou opened the animal training column to check. It was discovered that the loyalty of Archaeopteryx has increased to 18. Zhou decided to take a chance. Try to tame Archaeopteryx. The results were shocking. Archaeopteryx's loyalty immediately jumped to 38 points. Taming successful. This was the first time Zhou had successfully tamed a beast. Zhou attributed the reason to being a level 4 beast taming master. That's why it was successful the first time. He was no longer the sweaty animal trainer. Archaeopteryx adult stage loyalty 38, current status injured slightly and full. Zhou tried to issue a command to Archaeopteryx. Cuckoo. Archaeopteryx immediately spread its wings, took off from Zhou's hand, circled around Zhou's head, and then landed on a tree trunk not far away. Zhou's instructions were successfully completed. Not bad, really obedient. Much more obedient than this stupid dragon. Zhou smiled and praised. The Phyroraptor also jumped onto the tree trunk, baring its teeth and drooling. Just now it saw Zhou giving Archaeopteryx something delicious to eat, but he didn't give it to eat. The Phyroraptor expressed its dissatisfaction with silent protest. Zhou deliberately didn't give it anything to eat and let it starve for the time being. In the past 2 days, the Phyroraptor has eaten meat every day, and its body shape has become fatter than before. If the Phyroraptor is too fat, its agility advantage will not be fully utilized. His own martial arts skills were half useless. Therefore, Zhou, as the owner, should urge it to lose weight. I've been riding the Phyroraptor around for the past 2 days just to lose weight on it. Pyroraptor, follow me, go to the river, quickly. Zhou rode on the back of the Phyroraptor and patted it on the head. Riding the Phyroraptor, he quickly ran towards the territory of Deinosuchus. Cuckoo. Archaeopteryx spread its wings and followed in the sky. When Zhou arrived at the territory of the giant crocodile, he found that the meat he fed yesterday had entered the guy's belly. This Deinosuchus was sleeping on the river bank at this time. Zhou Yi did not wake it up. He continued to throw a few pieces of meat nearby and left. Let's raise this Deinosuchus first, and then operate on it when it's mature. Zhou Yi rode the Phyraoraptor, followed the Archaeopteryx in the sky, and rushed to the next destination. Crater. When Zhou Yi arrived near the crater, I found that a Survival Alliance team of 30 people had already built a section of the city wall. The height of these city walls can reach about 10 meters, and they are thick and solid. From a distance, it looks as if it is as indestructible as the Great Wall. The original purpose of this thing was to defend against invasion by wild beasts and foreign enemies. Some players like to build a wall around their base. Security can be greatly improved. Seeing Zhou Yi coming, the team leader who received the appointment yesterday immediately came over and reported to Zhou Yi the current situation of the volcano. From yesterday's observation to today, there is still no change in the volcano. Zhou Yi nodded and asked him how many fine-grade stones it would take to build a 100-meter section of city wall. The captain's answer is that it takes about 600 fine-grade stones to cover 100 meters. There are 600 in 100 meters, so there are about 6,000 in 1 kilometer. Zhou Yi calculated that the length of a circle around the crater is about 7 kilometers, which is 42,000 fine-grade stones. And he has now received more than 100,000 high-quality stones from people on the regional channel. It is enough to complete one circle, since stones are abundant. Then add a layer of insurance and do another round from the outside to get double insurance inside and outside. Double protective doors block the flow of magma. Zhou Yi checked the progress of their project and found that they only built about 1 kilometer in half a day yesterday. This efficiency is a bit worrying. If the inner and outer double walls were built, it would not take more than 10 days and a half to complete. The volcano now erupts as soon as it erupts. But it doesn't delay the progress like this. Zhou Yi put pressure on the captain and gave him 3 days to complete the first layer of the wall. At the same time, Zhou Yi also transferred 10 additional members from the hunting team to join the engineering team building the city wall. Let them speed up the work. Yes, promise to complete the mission. The captain took the order and went. Zhou Yi was still worried about the condition of the volcano and decided to go to the crater to check again. At this time, Zhou Yi unexpectedly received a message from Shan Yan. Brother Zhou, are you here? Here, Brother Sha, what's the matter? Zhou Yi replied. Shan Yan, haha, it's nothing. I'm concerned about the situation over there. Zhou Yi, thanks to you, everything is normal here. How are you doing over there? Is there anything the Hong gang is doing? Shan Yan, to be honest, I find it strange. These fools have been causing trouble for a long time. They have been very peaceful these past 2 days. I feel a little abnormal. Shan Yan felt inexplicably uneasy about Hong Bang's peace. Zhou Yi thought for a while and replied, maybe it's because he is busy resisting the third natural disaster. You said the third natural disaster is coming. Shan Yan was a little surprised. Well, it will be soon. Although I don't know the specific time yet, please make plans in advance. Shan Yan was silent for a while and then replied. This is the only explanation, otherwise there is no way to explain why there is no movement from the Hong gang. It seems that I have to take precautions as soon as possible. Brother Sha, you must pay attention to it as soon as possible. The intensity of natural disasters is getting worse every time, so you can't be careless. Zhou Yi reminded. Shan Yan, okay, don't worry, I know what's going on. By the way, there's something I forgot to tell you. Last time you asked me about that excellent item, two-way transmission. I remember that this thing requires a pair of 2 to be effective. If you only have one item in your hand, it is very dangerous. The other owner of the item can come to you anytime and anywhere. Holy shit, Zhou Yi was almost shocked when he heard the news. The thing is still on him now. He remembered that this thing belonged to Li Yan. Then who can trade this thing to Li Yan? There is only Li Tianlin, the boss of the Li group. In other words, the other part of this prop is in Li Tianlin's hands. Zhou Yi suddenly felt uneasy. It turns out that I have a time bomb hidden in my body, and I don't even know it. Zhou Yi only guessed wrongly. This thing was indeed in Li Tianlin's hands. But Li Tianlin couldn't figure out how to deal with him, so he traded two-way transmission to his son Li Shuangzhong to deal with him. Now the thing is in Li Shuangjiang's hands. Zhou Yi, Brother Xia, remind me of such an important thing as early as possible next time. Shan Yan, ha ha ha, there are too many things and I neglected them. I will pay attention next time. Then the two people closed the chat window. Zhou Yi immediately took out the black square box from his backpack. Now he feels that this is a hot potato and wants to throw it away quickly. Zhou Yi thought for a moment and took the square box in his hand first. Riding the Firoraptor came to the edge of the crater. Looking down from the crater, Zhou Yi saw that the magma underneath had spewed out. Patches of red and black alternate. Some rocks have been split into floating stones by the upwelling magma. The gaps are filled with overflowing golden red magma. There was a strong smell of sulfur in the air. Zhou Yi's heart tightened. The volcano's activity became more and more intense. Yesterday the magma was still under the rocks, but today it has all come up. Zhou Yi first took a photo of Ka at the bottom of the crater. Upload to regional channel. Then at channel owner. Oh my god, what are those red and black pieces? It's so scary. Is this the volcano that's about to erupt? It's so scary. Everyone on the regional channel was discussing. Zhou Yi's purpose was to tell them that he was not joking. Let the person who has not delivered the stone deliver it as soon as possible. Afterwards, Zhou Yi closed the panel. A task was given to Archaeopteryx. Let it hold the black box in its mouth and throw it to the rocks under the volcano. Cuckoo. Archaeopteryx held the square box in its mouth and flew down from the crater. Filled with thick sulfur smoke and extremely hot inside the volcano, Archaeopteryx could not stay long. Throwing the square box onto a big black rock below, he completed his mission and flew up with flapping wings. Cuckoo. Watching Archaeopteryx flying up from the crater, Zhou Yi knew that it had completed its task, so he threw another piece of bacon to it. Area 847. In a level 3 base steel chariot, Li Shuangjiang just executed a group of defecting players who opposed him. Now the entire 847 area is completely surnamed Li. There was no voice against him anymore. Li Shuangjiang then freed up his hands and began to think about how to deal with Zhou Yi. Haha, the energy stone. Li Shuangjiang's eyes shone when he thought of the large amount of energy stones on that island. Li Shuangjiang immediately assigned a person who looked very capable. This man is short in stature, but his eyes are shrewd, and he is the kind of person who is very calculating. Monkey, I'll use something to teleport you there. You can help me explore the situation on the island first. The person who called the monkey responded. Master Li, I understand. Li Shuangjiang said. Remember, don't act rashly alone, focus on detecting the enemy's situation, the number of forces on the island, the number of third-level bases, and most importantly, the distribution location of the energy stone mines. Write them all down and tell me when you come back. The monkey nodded. Don't worry, Mr. Li, when have I ever let you down? Monkeys are very confident. Li Shuangjiang was very satisfied and turned on two-way transmission for the monkey. A blue circle of light flashed in front of him, and the monkey stepped into the circle of light and disappeared. After passing through the aperture, the monkey immediately appeared from the other side of the aperture. The monkey felt very hot as soon as he came out. Hot and uncomfortable. The heavy smell of sulfur and carbon monoxide in the air made him breathless. The monkey immediately realized that the gas was poisonous. Unable to breathe, he quickly closed his breath. This was the last consciousness that flashed through his mind. The next second, a heat wave rolled up by the boiling magma hit my face. The extremely hot temperature directly melted the monkey's body and turned it into a gaseous state, leaving only a pile of bones and slag falling on the rock slab. In less than half an hour, these bone residues will melt into ashes. It is also commonly known as ashes. In Area 847, Li Shuangjiang is still confidently waiting for the monkey to reply to his message. While looking forward to the energy stone mine over there, it should be a very large mine. Half an hour passed, and the monkey still didn't send a message. Li Shuangjiang frowned. What happened to the monkey? Why haven't you farted for so long? Li Shuangjiang took the initiative to send a message to monkey and asked him to reply. More than a dozen messages were sent in a row. As a result, everything came to nothing, and the monkey didn't react at all. Li Shuangjiang's face became solemn. The monkey is dead. He died just after he passed. Monkey was such a cautious person, but he didn't expect to be caught and killed as soon as he passed by. It seems that I underestimated my opponent. Li Xuanzhang thought for a moment. Since the elite members couldn't do it, he would send out key members with powerful abilities. Ji Yu Dao, go. Hu Dao is one of the 8 key members around Li Xuanzhang. Every key member is Li Xuanzhang's favorite. One less person will greatly weaken the Li family's influence in Area 847. Arc Dao is a thin-looking man, and his ability is the sword. He is a good player with offensive abilities. Li Xuanzhang said to Hu Dao, after entering, be careful. The monkey has already died due to carelessness. You must be careful and don't be careless. Saving your life is the most important thing. Hu Dao nodded. He is a person with superpowers. A monkey has no superpowers. Can he be compared with him? The aloof Hu Dao didn't take Li Xuanzhang's words to heart. Stepped directly into the circle of light. After the arc knife appeared from the other side, he was immediately surprised by the rush of heat. The temperature of the heat flow inside the volcano is at least several hundred degrees. If it blows directly onto a person, it can burn a person's arm. Before Arc Blade could react, the hot wind burned his face. Ah! Arc Blade screamed immediately, and then he couldn't even make a sound. The throat has been melted, and the arc knife's body is like a hedgehog, poking out countless sharp knives. His feet were unstable and he stepped on red-hot rocks. As soon as he stepped on the rock, half of his foot melted directly. Arc Blade lost his balance and fell into the magma. A few minutes after Hu Dao entered, Li Xuanzhang began to call him frequently. I sent more than a dozen messages to Hu Dao in succession, but all of them came to nothing. Li Xuanzhang was completely shocked. The arc knife is also dead. What kind of magic power does this Zhou Yi have? The arc sword is his backbone. He went in and was instantly killed. Li Xuanzhang frowned. He underestimated Zhou Yi. This opponent was unfathomable. After losing 2 generals in a row, Li Xuanzhang had to start to face up to Zhou Yi's strength. This time, he plans to send another general over to explore Zhou Yi's true and false status. After some careful thinking, Li Xuanzhang called his personal guard, Rock, over. The rock is very powerful. Under his command, the 8 great. No, now it has become the 7 backbones. Among them, it can be ranked in the top 3. He usually respects him, and compared to the arc knife's attack. The rock is a defensive type, so it is safer to enter. Master Li, are you looking for me? Rock walked over and looked like a very steady person. Li Xuanzhang handed over the important task of exploring Area 851 to Shi Yan, and told him that Monkey and Arc Sword were dead. Zhou Yi is probably leading a group of masters waiting for you outside with bows and arrows. Be careful. Li Xuanzhang also requested that after the rock passes, he must send a message back as soon as possible to tell him the situation on the other side. The rock nodded and stepped into the circle of light. Because Li Xuanzhang reminded him well, as soon as the rock stepped out of the aperture, the skin on his body immediately turned into petrified state. In this state, the archer's arrows hitting him will only make a muffled sound of ding ding dong dong. As soon as the rock stepped out of the circle of light, I felt a sweltering heat. Even the air is highly toxic and extremely hot. Take a breath and it feels like your airway will be burned away. The rock quickly closed its breath. The body feels like it is in a huge oven. My feet stepped on the hot stone slab, which was burned like a red iron. Step down with 1 foot. The sound of zitsa kept ringing from under my feet, accompanied by green smoke rising up. Rock opened his eyes and took a look at the scene in front of him, and couldn't help but feel what horror was. There was flowing magma everywhere on the ground, and the hot magma almost melted him. It was pitch black all around and nothing could be seen. Above the head, a round hole appeared extremely far away, and light shone in the hole. Shi Yan quickly closed his eyes. After just looking at him for a while, his eyes were hurt by the thick smoke. Such a sight made Rock tremble with fear. Sent a message to Li Xuanzhang. Master Li, this is hell. After sending the message, Shi Yan felt that he could not stay any longer. If he continued to stay, he would suffocate. The rock is just about to return from the aperture. The stone slab under his feet was very fragile due to being burned by magma for a long time. It could not bear his weight and sank directly, taking the rocks with it. In the end, the rock didn't even have time to utter a scream, and the whole person was completely engulfed by the magma. Li Xuanzhang frowned as he looked at the last message sent by Yan Yan. Hell, he sent several messages to Yan Yan, but Yan Yan did not reply. Could it be that the rocks are cracking too? Looking at the last message from Yan Shi, Li Xuanzhang was deeply moved. Even the rocks are shaking. Is Area 851 really a hell? Li Xuanzhang was shocked and doubtful, and glanced at the remaining people. Only 6 of the 8 major backbones were left. When the remaining 6 people were caught by Li Xuanzhang's gaze, they all trembled in fright. If it's broken, Mr. Li won't get mad and send them there too, right? Li Xuanzhang didn't have any idea. He was also frightened and quickly told his father Li Tianlin the news. Dad, Zhou Yi is too scary. Area 851 is not an island at all, it is hell. When Li Tianlin saw the message from Li Xuanzhang, he immediately said angrily, nonsense. What nonsense are you talking about? That's just an island, what are you afraid of? Li Xuanzhang. Dad, I didn't lie to you. 3 of my men were trapped there, and they didn't even come back from the rocks. I just went there to die. Li Tianlin was busy with other things for the time being and had no time to care about him. He replied, SB, to Liang Xuanzhang and closed the chat. Li Xuanzhang said to the 6 remaining backbones around him that no one is allowed to approach Area 851 without his approval in the future. Classify it as a desperate situation. Zhou Yi didn't know that his casual moves had already blocked potential enemies thousands of miles away. Zhou Yi has returned home, and Zheng Pengfei counts the number of people who have handed over stones to 1,500. The 2 photos uploaded by Zhou Yi scared many people. I believed Zhou Yi's words. After all, this was related to everyone's safety. The island was flooded by magma, and everyone died. The total number of stones in Zhou Yi's hand has exceeded 100,000. 30 more applications to join the Survival League were received one after another. Zhou Yi asked them all to join the team of building the city wall. Because the volcano has changed again just now. The magma inside began to boil, and smoke was already spraying upward from the bottom of the volcano. The time for the volcano to erupt is very close. In addition to the 30 new people, Zhou Yi also removed 8 of the 10 people who were watching the fishing grounds, and removed 20 people from the hunting team. Join in the construction of the city wall together. Now there are almost 90 people building the city wall. Time is tight and tasks are heavy, time is life. Be sure to let them build the city wall before the volcano erupts. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.